A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained America's largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory. Prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample leaves from all tobacco growing areas to this great laboratory for scientific analysis, to help determine which tobaccos are really fine. And this is only one phase of the constant research that helps make possible Lucky Strike's unconditional guarantee. Check the cigarette you're now smoking. Among all leading brands, only the makers of Lucky Strike put an unconditional guarantee on the pack. So smoke a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 weeks, Jack Benny and his troupe have been in New York. So now let's pick them up on the Super Chief en route to Los Angeles. Mary and Jack are playing a game of gin rummy.
You sure are lucky, Mary. I play better gin than you do, and yet you always win.
Well, it's your own fault, Jack. You don't concentrate on the cards.
I do, too. Now, let's see. I know you have 3 nines, 3 queens, and the 6, 7, and 8 of hearts. So I know you can't use this card. Here's the deuce of spades.
Gin.
Gin? Let me see your hand.
There you are. 3 8s, 4 kings, and 3 deuces.
Wait a minute. Where are those 2 nines you picked up?
That was yesterday.
No. Well, go ahead and deal the cards again. See, I never played in such bad luck in all my life.
Hey, Jackson, you got a corkscrew?
Here you are, Phil.
Thanks.
See, I hope I have better luck with this hand than I...
Pick up your card.
Okay. I hope I...
Jack, pick up your last card. Whoops.
Oh, boy. What a hand this is. Mary, I'm warning you. Any card you throw, I can use. Go ahead, throw one.
It's your turn first.
Oh, yes. Here.
Gin. Jack, it wasn't my fault. Stop pulling my hair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. I didn't mean to get so excited. Well, that's enough gin rummy for me. What do I owe you?
$5.20.
All right, I'll pay you tomorrow.
Oh, Jack, you always say that. Why don't you pay up as soon as you lose?
Because it's so inconvenient.
I don't care. Take off your shoe and pay me.
All right, I'll pay you. Turn around.
Turn around? Just for going to go, you take your shoe off?
The 5s are pinned to my underwear. Here's your money.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You know, Mary, you're the luckiest
Hey,
person.
Jackson, you got a bottle opener?
Here you are, Phil.
Thanks.
As I was saying, Mary, you're the luckiest person I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm not lucky. You just don't know how to play gin rummy.
Oh, I don't, eh? Well, I'll tell you what. You won $5 from me. I'll play you one more hand, double or nothing.
All right.
And we'll use this other deck. Now, shuffle them and shuffle them good.
Okay.
Show you.
If they're shuffled enough, Mr. Benny, I'll deal.
Wait till I cut them, sister. There. Go ahead and deal.
Just a minute.
You don't have to roll up your sleeves. I trust you. Go ahead and deal. This time, Mary, I'll show you that you can't be lucky all the time. There's a law of averages, you know.
Okay, pick up your card.
I got 'em. Well, this is more like it. Now, let's see. This card I don't need. Here.
I don't want that one. I'll pick. Here, I'll give you this one.
Oh, boy, right in the middle. I go down with 6.
Well, you caught me this time. I'm stuck with 24 points.
Good. Where's the pencil?
Put your cards down first.
There. Now, let's see. 6 from 24. That gives me...
Oh, wait a minute. I can put the 7 and 8 on your heart run.
Where? Oh, yes.
But that still leaves me with 9.
You're darn right. 6 from 9 gives me...
Oh, wait a minute. I can play my deuce on your 3 deuces.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, yeah, but you're still stuck with 7, and 6 from 7 gives me...
Hello, kids.
Oh, hey, Don, I just clipped Mary.
Oh, stop bragging. I only got stuck with this 7 of clubs.
7 of clubs? Well, Mary, why don't you put it on these 4, 5, 6?
Oh, yes.
What?
That leaves me with nothing. You lose.
Don.
Yes, Jack?
Every year you're voted as radio's best announcer, aren't you?
Well, yes, Jack.
Well, it shouldn't be hard for you to get another job. Now, get out of here.
Oh, don't be such a sore loser.
He's right. What time do we get to Los Angeles, Don?
8:45 tomorrow morning.
Gosh, another night on the train.
Hey, Jackson, you got any extra glasses in there?
Yes, there are 3 of them over there.
Thanks.
Say, Jack, I'm a little hungry. How about sandwiches?
All right, Mary, I'll go to the diner and get some. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Well, let's see, the diner's down this way. Gee, imagine them charging 95 cents for a sandwich. Do you hear that whistle down the line? I reckon that it's engine number 99. All those prices that you have to pay on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Sand. Let's see, the diner must
I beg your pardon, mister.
Yeah?
Could you tell me which way the engine is?
The engine? Oh, yes, you're going in the wrong direction. It's the other way. Why do you want to know?
I'm the engineer.
The engineer? Hey! I hope he finds it before we reach Los Angeles. It'll be the first time I ever went to Catalina by rail. Now, let's see. The diner should be in this next car.
Well, from what you told me, Rochester, I don't see how Mr. Bennett got along without you.
Uh-oh. There's Rochester in the washroom talking to one of the porters. I got to listen to this.
Anything else you want to know, Roy? Yeah, besides writing Mr. Bennett's radio show, what else you do for him?
Well, I'm his publicity agent, manager, and last but not least, his personal advisor.
Oh, well, are you going to let Mr. Bennett go on television?
Well, we'll be happy to discuss any offers.
Oh, why did you say that so loud?
I want people to hear. We ain't had any yet. Yes, sir, Mr. Bennett won't do a thing without my approval.
Rochester, another thing I've been wanting to ask you. How old is Mr. Bennett?
39.
39? Well, I thought that was just a joke on the radio.
Well, in the vernacular, we people in show business, that is known as a running gag.
Well, how long has it been running?
2 years longer than the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe.
Rochester!
Uh-oh.
Is that Mr. Bennett?
It ain't your host.
Rochester, I don't like you discussing my private affairs.
Yes, sir.
And will you please go to the diner and get some ham sandwiches for me and Miss Livingston?
Boss, would you mind making that cheese?
Why?
I just told Roy I was your personal advisor.
All right. Just get the sandwiches.
Yes.
And take that sign off your back. I'm not considering television till next year. think he'd know better than to talk about me in front of strangers. Let's see. Oh, here's Mary's compartment.
Gee, it took you a long time. Where are the sandwiches?
I sent Rochester. Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Say, kid, I haven't seen you all day. What have you been doing?
Oh, I was in the club car looking out the window counting the telephone poles. I wanted to see if my mother was right.
What?
Well, she says there are 119,726 poles between Kansas City and Albuquerque.
Well, how would your mother know?
She dug the holes for them.
Why do I ask them? Why do I ask them?
Say, Jack, would you like to play a little more gin rummy till the sandwiches get here?
Well, all right, Mary. Move over, Don. Keep your mouth shut.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Jack, I haven't seen your riders since we left New York. Are they on this train?
No, they took another one.
Well, why don't you have them come with us? Are you ashamed of them?
Ashamed of them? Of course not. My 4 riders are very famous. 3 of them have their pictures in the Brown Derby, and the other has his in the post office.
Oh, yes. Dead or alive, Sam.
Yeah. Mendel's got a private room. Say, this is a pretty good hand you dealt me.
Hey, Mr. Benny, why don't you put those 2 kings together?
Be quiet. You're giving my whole hand away. And anyway, they're queens.
Gee, if she just throw you the 7 of spades, you could go right down.
Dennis! Let's see. I'll give you this one, Mary. The 8 of hearts.
I'll take it. And here's the 3 of diamonds.
I don't need it. I'll pick. Oh, that's a beaut. Now, let's see. What'll I give you?
Give her the end card.
No. I'll give her this one. Here.
I'll take it. Here, Jack, I'll give you this one.
I don't need it. I'll pick. Now, let's see.
Give her the end card.
No, you saw what she picked. I'll give her this one.
Oh, no, not that card. Give her the end card.
Well, maybe you're right. She did pick up those other 2. Here, Mary.
Gin.
Dennis.
I guess I've only got one show now.
Look, Ed, why don't you go back to the club car and count telephone poles?
No, I got to practice my song for Sunday's broadcast, so I'll see you later.
What song going to do this Sunday, Dennis?
The Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes from Walt Disney's new picture, Cinderella. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, sing it. Do anything. Just leave me play. Deal, Mary.
If dream that you wish will come true.
Dennis, that was wonderful.
Thank you, Mary.
It was great, kid, but when you do it on the show... Now, listen, Dennis, sing it a little faster because we're kind of tight for time.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, Mary. It's your draw.
Hey, Jackson.
What?
You got a couple aspirins?
So you finally got yourself a little headache, eh? Well, don't expect any sympathy from me, Phil.
Gin.
No, thanks, Mary. I've had all
Phil! Gin sometimes can mean something else. Mary, look, this hand doesn't count because I wasn't watching. Now, deal the cards again.
Come in.
Telegram from Mr. Harris.
Oh, I'll take it, Porter. Here, this for you.
$1. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Well, go ahead and read it, Phil. What does it say in the dollar? In the telegram? Go ahead, Phil, read it.
Let's see. Oh, no.
Well, who's it from, Phil?
The boys in my band.
What does it say?
Hurry home, we're in again. Well, look, I better send them a wire, tell them when I'm going to arrive. See you later, huh?
Well, come on, Jack. Let's finish our game of gin.
No, Mary. I'm going out to look for Rochester and see what's taking him so long with the sandwiches.
Okay, and hurry back. I'm starved.
Okay, Mary. Gee, this trip has been exciting. Oh, the Mississippi, the Grand Canyon, a $1 tip. Oh, well. Oh, there's a cute little baby. Do you mind if I hold him, madam?
No, not at all.
Hello, baby. Ah, look at him. He's so cute. And his eyes are the same color as mine. Lake Louise blue. How old is he, lady?
39.
What?
Weeks.
Oh. You know, lady, yesterday when you were in the diner, I came through here and I played with him. Didn't I, baby?
Gin.
He's luckier than Mary. Here, take him back, lady. You have a lovely child.
Thank you.
You'll find $5 he won pinned to his diaper. What a little doll that baby is.
Excuse me. Oh, it's you, Jack. I was just going up to the diner.
Oh. Well, Don, I sent Rochester up there for some sandwiches. If you see him, hurry him up, will you?
All right, I will.
Oh, Don, before you go, there's something I got to tell you. The most amazing thing happened a little while ago.
What is it, Jack? What happened?
Well, I was in Mary's compartment with Phil when the porter brought him a telegram.
Yes?
And Phil gave him a $1 tip.
Well, what about it?
What about it? Don, he gave him a $1 tip. $1 just for bringing him a telegram. He didn't press his suit or anything.
Well, Jack, there's nothing unusual about that.
You mean that you...
Certainly, all the time.
Gosh.
Jack, in these times when you're in a hotel or on a train and people do a personal service for you, it's customary to give them $1 tip.
It is?
Yes, and you might as well get used to it.
I will not. All right, Don, you go on to the diner. I'll see you later.
Wait a minute, Jack. I just remembered something. I've got a surprise for you.
A surprise?
Yes, step right over here to compartment H.
Gee, I wonder what the... Right here?
Yeah, open the door.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, the Sportsman Quartet. Hello, fellas. John, what are they doing on the train?
Oh, they got on at Albuquerque. They've been there all week on a personal appearance.
Well, Don, I'm glad the boys are with us and that they'll be on the show Sunday. Are they happy that they're going home? Back to Los Angeles?
Ooh, are they? Listen to this, Jack. We love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in our hometown. Though it may shower most any hour, they'll never ever let you drown. They read Llewellyn from Friday to Monday, in fact the whole week through. We may have fog, smog, or sun on Sunday. It makes no difference, no one's blue. We feel so welcome at Hollywood and fine. Love to eat inside that derby they call brown. The gray tar pits, the farmer's market, they're all a part of our hometown. There is something in the air that you can't find anywhere. When the smudge hot smudge, you never feel the heat. There's a Chinese picture show that's at Ramen Runs, where they have cement for stars to put their feet. We love those dear hearts and lucky people who smoke in our hometown. They smoke those lockies because a lucky will never ever let you down. They are so free and so easy on the draw. Take a tip from one who knows and you will see. There ain't a rough puff, it's fine tobacco, so like an LSMFT. It's always LSMFT. Yes, LSMFT.
Fellas, that was great. It'll be wonderful on the show. Well, Don, I think I'll go back and play a little more gin with Mary and then have the berth made up and go to sleep.
I'm going to turn in early, too.
Okay, Don. See you later. I'll soon be back home in California, yay, and I'll pay my income tax when I get there. And if I have to, I'll play my fiddle in the middle of old Pershing Square. Well, about another hour of gin, and I'll go to bed.
Oh, boy, this berth feels good. It's nice to be able to stretch out.
Yeah, but stop stretching over to my side, will you, Jack?
I'm sorry, Don.
I don't know why you insist on traveling like this. These berths are only built for one.
Don, you know as well as I do, it's hard to get accommodations on the super cheap. We're lucky we're in here.
I suppose so. Anyway, I'm too cramped to argue.
All right, then, drop it.
You don't have to get huffy about it, you know.
Look, I'm not getting huffy.
Hey, fellas, be quiet. How do you expect me to sleep here between you two?
I'm sorry, Dennis. Good night, Don.
There he goes, Don. Every night it's the same thing, snoring and mumbling.
Ah, don't worry, kid. We'll be home tomorrow.
I'd like to punch him right in the nose.
Shut up!
Gee, I can't go to sleep.
Well, Dennis, why don't you try counting sheep?
Counting sheep?
Yeah.
Well, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's a sheepdog. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Jim.
Los Angeles Union Station. Your luggage will be taken to the cab stand.
Ah, well, Mary, here we are, home at last.
Can I brush you off, Miss Livingston?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Can I brush you off, Mr. Day?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Brush you off, Mr. Wilson?
Please.
Now, Don, if you'll turn around, he can brush your back.
Never mind.
Brush you off, Mr. Benny?
Yes, please. Thank you, Porter. Here.
I'm sorry, I don't have change for that $1, Mr. Benny.
I don't want change. Keep it. This $1's for you. Come on, Mary. I love those dear hearts and gentle people.
Gee, it's good to be home, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah. Let's go over here to the cab stand.
Extra, get your paper here. Extra, read all about it. Jack said he tips Porter $1.
Gee, I knew it would be in the papers, but how did they get it so soon? Come on, Mary. Everybody's staring at me.
Train leading on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
Oh, boy, even he sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Heart Association has set a goal of $6 million to be used for research, for education, and for community service. Heart disease is our greatest challenge because it takes more lives than any other illness and causes tremendous disability.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, won't you please help support the 1950 Heart Campaign? Send your contributions to Jack Benny, Box 500, New York City. Jack will be back in just a moment, but first,
let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike, and that's because LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Listen to what Mr. J. Coy Smith, an independent tobacco warehouseman from Greenville, North Carolina, recently said.
I'm in my 37th year as a warehouseman, and down through the years, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine tobacco, light, ripe tobacco that makes mild, smooth smoking. I've smoked Lucky's for 31 years.
Millions of smokers, including the famous dancing star of stage and screen, Ray Bolger, take a tip from the experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, Mr. Bolger said,
cigarettes, like dancing, must be smooth to be really enjoyable. Naturally, I go for Lucky's fine tobacco.
And for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Well, Rochester, here we are at home. The house looks good, doesn't it?
Sure does, boss.
I'm going upstairs, take a shower, a shave, and get cleaned up.
Okay, boss, and while you're doing that, I'll unpack your bags.
No, Rochester, don't touch those bags.
Why not?
As soon as I get cleaned up, I got to rush back to the railroad station.
For what?
I got to catch a train. I'm going back to Washington for the White House Photographer's Ball.
But, boss, that don't make sense. If you're going right back to Washington, why'd you come all the way home from New York?
I told you to take a shower. There's a water shortage there. Have a cab here in 15 minutes. Good night, Claudette.
To send your contributions to the 1950 Heart Campaign to Jack Benny, Box 500, New York City. And be sure to hear Dennis Day in the day in the life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned to the Amos Sandy Show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Good health to all from Rexall. It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist with a welcome from all 10,000 of us. The 10,000 independent druggists who have added the word Rexall to our own store names and placed the famous orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. We've done that because we believe in the 2,000 or more drug products made by the Rexall Drug Company, and we confidently recommend them to our customers. There's Rexall Milk of Magnesia, for example. The milk of magnesia that's so mild, so creamy smooth and free from unpleasant earthy taste, even children can tell the difference. Quality like that of Rexall Milk of Magnesia is what we family druggists are talking about when we tell you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. Last summer, 20th Century Fox made a picture called Wabash Avenue, starring Betty Grable and Victor Mature, and featuring the pride of Nashville, Phil Harris. The picture hasn't been released yet, but Phil is anxious to find out how well he did. After weeks of trying to reach Darrell Zanuck, Phil has finally gotten him on the phone.
Look, Mr. Zanuck, I can't wait to find out how I did. You saw the picture at the studio, and you're a genius who worked himself to the top because of your shrewd judgment and ability. So, tell me honestly, what did you think of my acting? What do you know? Look, Darrell, maybe you didn't like my performance, but that's only one man's opinion. How did the producer who hired me for the part like my performance? I thought so. I killed him, huh? What? Oh, you killed him. Now, look, DZ, I want you to know that I... Hello? Hello? Oh, I guess we were disconnected.
Phil, didn't Mr. Zanuck like you in the picture?
Oh, he loved me. In fact, he said my scenes helped the picture a lot.
They did?
Yeah. Gave him something to cut. Can't understand him. You know that biggest love scene I had, honey, the one I did with Betty Grable, the one where I'd take her in my arms, hold her tightly, and kiss her and kiss her? They cut it.
Oh, what a pity. Now, look, Phil, don't feel too bad. You still have that big dramatic scene with Victor Mature.
They cut that, too.
Well, how could they? That scene is the crux of the whole plot.
They got a new crux.
Well, how about your big fight scene with...
It's cut.
And your...
Cut.
Seems to me you were cut an awful lot.
Well, maybe I was, but I'll still get good reviews.
You certainly will. You'll be the only actor to get 4 stars in the medical journal.
Can't understand why they didn't leave any more of me in the picture. I looked at the scenes every day after they were filmed, and I was great. Such a refreshing personality. I'm the cutest thing to hit the screen since Mary Pickford.
Oh, don't worry about it, Phil. You're still in the picture. After all, they couldn't cut Victor Mature's scenes. He's the romantic lead.
That's another thing I can't understand. Why didn't they give me the romantic lead instead of Mature?
Maybe it's because he's better looking than you are.
Oh, Alicia, you fool, you. You're so close to me every day. Romance happens to be my business. I defy you to name one movie star who's better looking than I am.
Gabby Hayes.
Why, Wormy? When did you crawl out of the scoreboard?
You better leave Phil alone, Willie. He's a little touchy today. They cut out a lot of his scenes in Wabash Avenue.
Yeah, and I can't understand why.
Maybe they want to make money with the picture. Now, Philip, let's face it, you can't act with a tinker's Don.
That's what you think. The producer thought I was great. Wait till I tell you what he said. I've got it written down because he used some big words and I didn't want to forget them. Now listen to this. He says, Harris's performance is undoubtedly one of the most odious that has ever been foisted upon the American public. And he ought to know because he's an expert. Bad enough they cut my dramatic scenes, but when they took my song out, that was the coup de grace.
Oh, what a shame. My, now I will never be able to hear your song.
That's what you think. You walked into that trap like a bear. Alice, strap him to the chair. That's a plan he's got a beatin' it. The rhythm's got a lot of heatin' it. I bet you 5, 10 to 5. It's gonna get you doing what it's doing to me. The Dixieland comes oozing out of it. The Dixielanders sure proud of it. They call it jazz, to beat jazz, and that's a plenty for me. Well, it takes you down to New Orleans, down Basin Street with all the queens. You don't have to have the means. A little bit of rhythm and you go and ride with them. Will shut my big brown rolling eyes. You don't rock it to the skies. Hey, boy, say, boy, that's plenty for me. Well, you're going to get mellow when that fella blows his horn. Down where the blues were born, you'll be gone. The trumpet side trumper going to do me something. Well, beat it out, brother, there's no other remedy. And that's a plenty, plenty, plenty for me. Once you start, you're gonna stay in it every night. You're out cafe and it's swing you queen. What I mean, brother, you're as gone as any human can be. And when you're in the mood, there ain't no stopping it. Live it, breathe it, blow your top in it. That's the jazz, to be jazz, and that's the plenty for me. That's a plan he's got a beatin' it. The rhythm's got a lot of heatin' it. I bet you 5, 10 to 5. It's going to get you doing what it's doing to me. The Dixieland comes oozing out of it. The Dixielanders sure proud of it. They call it jazz, to be jazz. That's a plenty for me. Well, it takes you down to New Orleans, down Basin Street with all the queens. You don't have to have no means. A little bit of rhythm and you go and ride with them. Well, shut my big brown rolling eyes if you don't rock it to the sky. Hey, boy! Hey, boy!
Philip, is that the way you sing the song in the picture?
Verbatim.
And Mr. Zanuck insisted on cutting it out?
Yeah.
A shrewd man. No wonder he's the head of a large studio. He shows keen judgment and rare ability.
Oh, stop talking like Georgie Jessel. It's a fine thing. My movie career's at stake, and you and your sister have got no sympathy for me. It's a wonder that... I'll get that.
Hi, Curly.
Ah, hello, Frankie. Gee, I'm glad you're here to console me. You're the only one who'll understand.
What's the matter, pal?
You know the picture I made last summer, Wabash Avenue? They cut me out of nearly every scene.
That figures.
Frankie, I feel bad enough. The studio told me that they don't like my acting.
Yeah, I know. It's all over town. It's got me terribly upset.
You're upset about me, Frankie?
Sure. Every time I walk down the street, people point at me and say, "There goes Frank Remley, the best friend of the world's lousiest actor." Children throw stones at me, dogs bark at my heels, mother...
I wasn't that bad.
Certainly wasn't.
Hi, Alice.
In fact, I was great, but the studio won't admit it.
Oh, Phil, after all, it's your first picture, and you can't expect to be a star overnight.
Why not? They just won't give us youngsters a chance. It's youths like me who are going to build the future of the movie industry, and we kids will be the stars of tomorrow.
Thank you, baby Leroy. Phil, the studio knows what it's doing.
Oh, they do not know what they're doing. I could make a better picture than the studio without half trying.
Oh, I'm sure you can, dear. Tell you what, while I'm making lunch, why don't you make a picture?
Why don't you make a picture? Why don't you make a picture?
Why don't you?
Oh, Frankie, stop it. Just being sarcastic because... Yeah. Why don't I? I'd be my own boss and nobody could fire me.
Sure, we'll make a great picture, Curly. You do the acting and I'll do the directing.
Yeah. But we'll need a good story.
Now, you leave that to me. I'll come up with a great story. Something powerful, like... Did you see All the King's Men?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I'll steal it.
Frankie, you can't steal it outright.
All right, then we'll change the title. We'll call it 12 O'Clock High.
Look, Remley, we got to have an original story.
Oh. Okay, I'll write one. Let's see. I got it. We'll do a musical. Picture this. It's a South Sea island during the war. An American nurse is in love with a plantation owner. He takes her in his arms, and as he does, she sings, "Bali High is calling every night, every day."
You wrote the music, too?
Oh, it's not written yet. I'm just ad-libbing it. Then the guy turns to the girl and sings, "Some enchanted evening, you will see a stranger.
Remley.
You will see a stranger. Da-da-da-dee-da-da."
Well, you haven't written all the lyrics yet.
No, I just got the tunes.
Oh. Remley, why don't you call this thing South Pacific?
Curly, they already have a show with that name. The least you can do is be original. No, on second thought, a musical isn't a thing for you. We got to find something for your talents.
What's the matter with a musical?
You can't sing.
How about a drama?
You can't act.
Comedy?
Not funny.
How about a travelogue? As we approached the little Isle of Isengam, which is Magnesia spelled backwards, always get that plug in, we see the natives lining the shore. We wave, "Hello there." Whoops, they ran away. And now as the sun sinks into the west...
Curly, I got it. We'll make a Western.
Let me get off the island first. Hey, wait a minute. A Western. That's just the thing.
Well, boys, how are you coming with your picture? Have you finished it yet?
Alice, please, we're busy. Curly, I got the whole picture set up. You play the male lead, and I'll direct it and be the cameraman.
Wait a minute now. How about the female lead? We'll need a pretty blonde who's had movie experience.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Where can we find a pretty blonde with movie experience?
I can't think of anybody.
Hey, fellas, I'm here.
Good. Maybe you can think of somebody. Now, look, we need a pretty blonde with picture experience.
How about Nelson Eddy?
Please, we're being serious. Curly, we could get Betty Grable or Lana Turner
or Betty Hutton or...
Oh, fellas, I can suggest something.
Oh, who do you know that would be any... Oh, babykins. Oh, how could I have overlooked you? Remley, I got it. How about Alice?
Alice who?
Alice...
No, we need a name.
Let's read that again. How about Alice?
Alice who?
I hate myself for stepping on that laugh the first time. Alice Faye.
No, we need a name.
Frankie, I'll have you know that Alice was a movie star for many years.
Must have been before my time. What picture did she ever make?
What picture? Alexander's Ragtime Band in old Chicago, Lillian Russell. Keep the father lit in the window, Mother. I'm coming home late tonight.
Honey, you forgot my greatest triumph.
Which one?
Fallen Angel. Or, make for the roundhouse, Nellie. The brakeman can't corner you there.
Ah, what a picture that was. Got two bells and a grate. Look, Remley, let's give her a part in the picture. After all, she can't hurt us. I'm going to be the star. She'll only have a small bit. Make her happy.
All right, I'll give the kid a chance. Now, let's get busy. Curly, you get your camera ready, and I'll start writing the story.
Oh, what can I do to help?
Give us some mood music.
Let us cuddle in the rain, pitter-patters on the pane, and we're alone. A chance to while away a dreamy afternoon, a lovely, peaceful afternoon. No one can see us. Rain, it's so cozy in the rain. There's no reason to complain if he's with you, to hold his hand, and then it's 10 to 1 he'll kiss you in the rain, rain, rain. Let us cuddle in the rain. On the pain, and we're alone. A chance to while away a dreamy afternoon, a lovely, peaceful afternoon. No one can see us. Rain, in the rain. There's a reason to complain. She's with you, to hold his hand, and then
that was swell, honey. That's going to be great. Well, Frankie, how are we coming with the story?
There. It's all finished.
What slowed you down, kid? How's it look?
Just great, that's all. Different than any Western that's ever been done.
Yeah?
Listen to this plot. The rustlers have been stealing cattle from the heroine's ranch so she can't meet the payments on the mortgage. So they can grab the land which contains gold, unbeknownst to the heroine. However, their efforts to obtain the mortgage are foiled by the hero, who is posing as a cowhand, but is in reality a United States Marshal.
What's different about this plot?
It's a second mortgage.
Oh, I see. Well, I play the marshal, huh?
Yeah, you play the marshal. You're the whole thing. I have a couple of lines as your sidekick. Alice has a few lines as the heroine. But we need one more to complete the cast.
Who?
Someone to play the rustler. We need a bloodthirsty, murderous, nasty, low-down, ornery heel.
Hi, everybody. I brought the groceries.
Well, now that our cast is complete, let's get started. Hey, Julius, how would you like to appear in the movie that I'm starring in?
You're going to star in a movie?
That's right.
Whose face are you using?
My own. I have some outstanding features. For example, my eyes. How do they look?
Like two red sunsets through a heavy smog.
Well, maybe I didn't pick my best feature. Should have known better than to ask you anyway. Alice, you take a look, honey, at my profile.
Very well, let me see.
How do you like this firm chin?
Looks like the firm took in a couple of partners.
I only got one chin.
Now, what are those other two?
A part camel and shut up.
Now, please, let's get started with our Western. And remember, Curly, I'm co-starring with you.
Cut. You ain't co-starring with nobody. You may be a fine writer. That might be all right, but you don't know nothing about acting.
What are you talking about? I just finished the picture.
That's right. Universal made a picture of Mr. Remley's life, and they starred him in it.
What picture?
Francis, the talking mule.
Never mind. I'll just play a bit part in this. Now, let's get started and rehearse this once. Julius, this is a Western, and you play the part of a rustler. As the scene opens, you're alone in a cabin with Miss Faye, and you're forcing your attentions on her. Okay, now, action. Go.
Keep away from me, you varmint, you.
Cut. It's been a long time since this gal has worked. Now come away from that makeup, man, and let's have it again.
Keep away from me, you varmint, you. I ain't got a hankering for no smooching.
Come here, gal. I'm going to put a half Nelson on you, and then a toe hold, and then a double Gretchen, and then
Hold it. What are you doing with Alice? You're supposed to be a rustler.
Oh, rustler! I thought you said wrestler.
Will you please do it the way it's written?
I don't want to. More fun wrestling than wrestling.
Oh, be quiet, Julia. Curly, look. This is your big scene.
Well, it's about time.
Okay, listen. You and I hear the heroine scream for help, We rush into the cabin, you tell off the villain, and then shoot him dead. Now, don't forget this is your big scene, so put a lot of feeling into your dialogue.
Okay, let her go.
Alice, you start screaming, and we'll burst in the door.
Help! Help! Somebody save me!
Wow. What have we here? Unhand that woman, you coyote.
Yep,
or we'll blow your brains out. We'll teach you to molest the fair women of the West, won't we, pal?
Yep,
we'll. Blast you. We know how to treat critters like you, don't we, Father?
Yep.
We know how to deal justice. We're the angels who never born.
What?
We'll make him...
Wait a minute. Have I got dialogue or the heat cup? My big scene, all I say, yup. I could break my neck that way.
Don't be so impatient. In your next big scene, you do better. Now, let's keep going. Looks like we got here just in time, ma'am.
Yes, you did. Whoever you are, I owe my life to you. What's your name, stranger?
I'm Pecos Pete.
And what's your name?
He's Cactus Clyde. He's from down Amarillo way.
I think you're mighty purty, Clyde.
I don't.
Why don't Clyde speak for himself?
He's not the talkative type.
I could be if you gave me a
chance. You haven't introduced yourself, ma'am. What's your name and where do you come from?
I'm no Hart and I'm 21. I know this ain't my line, but it's the only way I can get into the conversation.
Really, you're not letting nobody say nothing.
Don't be impatient. Look, I tell you, we'll shoot this next scene and you'll all get a chance. Julius is accused of rustling, and he delivers a stirring speech protesting his innocence. Curly, you have a great denunciation speech, and after that, Alice, you declare your love in a long, passionate speech.
What are you going to be doing, Russellini?
Oh, I'll run the camera and maybe throw in a few feed lines.
You know how to run the camera?
What's to know? I just hold the camera up to my eye and press the button. Now, if we're ready, I'll roll it. All right, you viper. We got you dead to rights. We know you've been stealing this girl's cattle, but I'll give you a chance to explain. Why did you do it?
Well,
I never heard such a pack of lies. Okay, Curly, now you go ahead and denounce him.
Denounce him? He's dead.
Do it anyway. It's your big scene.
Oh, all right. Look, you varmint, you.
Oh. He talks too much. Now that we're alone, Nell, I want you to know I love you. And I want to marry you. But before I do, I want you to tell me all about yourself.
Well, it's a long story. I was born...
I can't stand long-winded explanations. Now I'm all alone in this desolate cabin. On this desolate prairie. I have no one to talk to. It's driving me mad.
All right, you can
Do
stop
you
it
hear
now.
me?
You can stop it now. Will you stop it? All right, Remley, stop it. The picture's over. There's no use shooting no more.
Why not?
Oh, when you were shooting the picture, you made a little mistake.
How could I? I held the camera to my face like I was supposed to.
But you held it backwards.
So?
So who's going to pay to see a 100-foot movie of a bloodshot eye? In Technicolor.
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. But first, here's your Rexall Family Druggist.
I often wonder why so many people complain of simple sore throats and yet neglect doing anything about them. That's why, especially during winter weather, I like to call people's attention to Rexall MI31.
Rexall MI31?
Yes, ma'am. Rexall's famous mouthwash and gargle.
Why does it have such an odd name?
Well, the phrase MI31 identifies a specially and carefully developed antiseptic formula. When used full strength, this antiseptic kills contacted germs almost instantly. And Rexall scientists back up that statement with a rigid laboratory test.
What kind of a test?
A tiny measurement of full-strength MI31 is added to a culture of the bacteria usually present in the mouth. Then this bacteria is given ideal conditions to make it hang on and thrive. But if it doesn't grow, then Rexall's MI31 has killed it in a few seconds.
I see. Then that's why...
Exactly, ma'am. That's why the prompt use of Rexall MI31 is a mighty good precaution, and also very soothing relief for simple sore throat. Now do you see what we family druggists mean when we tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall?
Good health to all from Rexall.
We're a little late, so good night, folks, and don't forget to give generously to your Red Cross. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Here's headline drug news. Now Rexall antihistamine costs less. Now everybody can afford this marvelous new miracle drug that often stops cold symptoms in one day when taken at the first sign of a cold. Listen to these prices on Rexall antihistamine. Bottle of 15 tablets, 39 cents. Family size bottle of 50 tablets, only 98 cents. That's little more than a penny per tablet. Ask for Rexall antihistamine wherever you see the orange and blue Rexall sign on the window. And remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Next, you'll hear Sam Spade, then Kirk Douglas on Theater Guild on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, presents The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
If you like good beer, you'll find it pays to be curious and learn about Schlitz for yourself. And now, The Halls of Ivy.
That surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far, far away.
Welcome again to Ivy, the College of Ivy and the town of Ivy, USA. Dr. William Todhunter Hall, like any other college president or almost any kind of executive, has to make certain concessions to his superior officers. For instance, he must on occasion have lunch with some of the members of the Board of Governors when he would far prefer to spend that hour and a half playing a game of chess with his wife, Victoria, who was, until her marriage, the toast of the English musical comedy stage. With chess at the halls, it doesn't matter much who wins, but a college president must not permit himself to be checkmated too many times by his Board of Governors, even at a luncheon at the faculty club like this one.
Enjoy your lunch, Doctor?
Very much, Mr. Merriweather, very much. I've also enjoyed the opportunity to discuss these matters with the board members present and to have the... Oh, pardon me, Mr. Wellman, but that is my milk you're drinking.
Oh, it is? Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor. Thoughtless of me. I thought I had ordered milk myself. You did, Clarence, and drank that, too. You also ate my strawberries. If you lunch with us often, Dr. Hall, you'll learn to keep an eye on Clarence. The man's a gastronomic kleptomaniac. Orders something he likes, and he swoops down on it like a vulture. Don't be silly, Merriweather. I'm simply a trifle absent-minded. So much on my mind.
If there's anything disturbing you that we haven't talked about, Mr. Wellman, anything I can help with, by all means, let's have it.
Ah, that's the spirit, Doctor. Relieve his mind and protect your lunch.
Yes.
Well, Clarence, what's your trouble? Weak track team this year? Or did you get snubbed by some house mother?
Don't be so flippant, Merriweather.
merely because I happen to take the affairs of this college rather seriously. Yeah, we all take them seriously, son. But let's take the long view. In 100 years, after the dust of the last atom bomb is cleared away, nothing we say here today will seem quite worth that long face of yours. My long face, as you call it, is the result of shouldering my responsibilities and keeping my nose to the grindstone. That's no grindstone, Clarence. It's my coffee. For Pete's sake, how many things do you drink?
Let me order you some coffee of your own, Mr. Wellman.
Oh, he'd hate it, Doctor. Never touches the stuff. It happened to be right in front of me. You'd have found it in a foxhole. Now, go on, Clarence. Finish Dr. Hall's ice cream and tell us your trouble. Dr. Hall's ice cream? I'm sorry, Doctor. I didn't realize.
No. You're quite welcome to it, Mr. Wellman. Now, was there something you wanted me to do?
Yes, Dr. Hall. It will be necessary for you to address the student body in chapel tomorrow.
Oh?
The Reverend Dr. Gilby is ill, you know.
Oh, I hadn't heard. Nothing serious, I hope?
Oh, I don't think so, Doctor. Just picked up a bug somewhere. By tomorrow, they'll discover a new miracle drug to cure him. By next week, they'll find the new miracle drug makes his ears fall off. You can't read.
Well, I'm sincerely sorry to hear about Dr. Gilby's illness. And, of course, I'll address chapel tomorrow. Although I haven't not much experience in clerical oratory. But now, if you gentlemen will excuse me...
Oh, sure, Doctor. I think we're all through. This is my lunch, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Why don't you let me take the check for change, Marietta? All right. Waiter. Check, please.
Dr. Hall's at a luncheon, Miss Lee, but I'm sure he'll be home very soon if you'd like to wait. I'm afraid I'd better not, Mrs. Hall. Thank you. My train leaves in an hour. But Dr. Hall has always been so nice to me. He's such a fine man. I thought I owed it to him to explain why I'm leaving Ivy. Leaving Ivy, Miss Lee? But I thought... Well, aren't you the Margaret Lee who's up for president of the student council? Was, Mrs. Hall. The field is now open for a new candidate. One with lower marks, possibly, but a higher social standing. Perhaps one whose family is less than 4,000 years old. Oh, Mrs. Hall, my father was so proud of me. And now... No, please, dear. Now, sit down. There. Why don't you cry a little? It helps sometimes, you know. Tears are a sort of window washing operation. You see things a little more clearly through the panes. I've cried myself dry, Mrs. Hall. Some of it was self-pity, I guess, and some of it was... Well, I suppose I just overrated the decency of the student body. I think it far more likely, my dear, that a few members of it have underrated you. You mustn't condemn an institution because some of its windows rattle. Dr. Hall is going to be very disturbed about this. Do you know how vicious student politics can be, Mrs. Hall? Oh, no, I'm afraid I don't, my dear. But if they're anything like backstage politics, which I happen to have known intimately, they can give you a pretty rough time. I've been up against a great deal of snobbery and discrimination myself. In England, as an English woman, among English people. Yes, and here, too. In fact, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I wasn't sure that I was welcome at Ivy. Even Dr. Hall was none too certain. But your case cuts a little deeper. I realize that. You'll never know how deep, Mrs. Hall, I hope. I flattered myself that I'd been accepted, that my scholarship record and my fitness for the presidency would make up for my being an alien. But, well, the organized ostracism... Oh, I'm sure, Margaret, that a handful of unthinking... Don't try, Mrs. Hall. My people have always won by retreating. Maybe I'm making history. I'm retreating without winning. I guess I just didn't realize how well the Exclusion Act was enforced. I'm afraid I'm not too well equipped to cope with this, Margaret. But I'm sure you know how I feel about it. I do, Mrs. Hall, and I'm grateful. And please tell Dr. Hall how I appreciate everything he's...
Home, Mr. Sailor, home from the sea. Have you, my Popsy, a welcome for me?
Take it, matey. Have a nice luncheon.
Yes, my dear, quite pleasant. Mr. Wellman paid the check.
Nice of him.
Nice of him. My dear girl, you can't dismiss an announcement of this importance with any such offhand remark. Mr. Wellman paying a luncheon check is as world-shaking as the discovery of the wheel.
You mean Mr. Wellman is tight, Toddy?
Tight is rather a brutal way to express it, Victoria, but I find it charmingly accurate. Mr. Wellman is extremely imminent in the sense of being close. I have heard that he launders his pipe cleaners.
I suppose he got so tremendously rich throwing his money about.
Vicky, darling, Mr. Wellman throwing his money about is a spectacle which Mr. Cecil J. DeMille...
B.
Hmm?
Cecil B. DeMille, B for bathtub.
Oh, yes, thank you. Mr. Wellman throwing his money about is a spectacle which Mr. Cecil B. DeMille wouldn't even attempt. When I recall how generous, yes, even spontaneously generous, Mr. Wellman has been with his millions for this school, and how frugal he can be with... Vicky...
Hmm?
What's wrong?
Wrong? What do you mean?
Oh, I mean, my dear, that no one can love someone as much as I love you and not be instantly aware of a shadow on that someone's face. Tell me, please.
Oh, Toddy, I wish this hadn't come up. You have so many things to cope with.
Oh, what's the matter? Did something happen while I was out at lunch?
Well, not to me, dear. In fact, it has nothing to do with me personally, except that, well, it's disturbing to see any youngster with a broken heart. Do you know a student called Margaret Lee?
No, I don't think so. Wait a moment. Lee. Yes, a very neat and rather frail girl, quite intelligent looking.
That's the one.
Well, of course I know her. Of her, rather. A fine student.
Not anymore, William. She's gone home. I did my best to persuade her to stay and talk to you, but I doubt if even you... Oh, it was really very sad.
Now, my dear, don't distress yourself. This is my problem now. Sit down and tell me about it. Tell me the whole story.
Well, as you know, Margaret Lee came to this country for her education. She chose Ivy. And here's what she said.
This is a wicked thing, Vicky. The antithesis of everything we have tried to instill in the men and women here at Ivy. I'm sorry that I wasn't here in time to talk to the girl.
I'm afraid I handled it rather badly, William. She was so depressed and discouraged that... Well, I don't know too much about this part of the job. Are campus politics always as bad as this?
Oh, no, of course not. But I must say that I sometimes stand aghast at the utter ruthlessness of these young people. Young, of course, is the key word in that admission. They're all children, callously pulling the wings off butterflies. As far as I'm concerned, one of the chief purposes of education, the chief purpose, if you like, is to impart an understanding of the butterfly's viewpoint. Whenever I hear of a student being made the victim of prejudice, I feel that I've failed in some... Yes, Penny?
Beg pardon, sir, but there was a message from the Reverend Gilby. Seems like he was took sick, sir, and wanted to know if you could...
Yes, I know. I received the message at lunch, Penny. Thank you.
I've got a Bible, sir, if you'd care to borrow it.
I have a Bible, Penny. Thank you.
Fast welcome, sir. Any time at all.
Well, it's turning out to be quite a day. What was that all about?
Well, Dr. Gilby, the chaplain, is ill. I am pinch hitting for him, if that isn't too irreverent a word, in chapel tomorrow morning. Vicky, I don't want you to come. I feel I should be very inadequate.
Oh, nonsense, Toddy. You'll do a lovely performance. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you were held over for a second week.
Held over, Victoria, is not very good ecclesiastical terminology.
Yeah, I know. I love Dr. Gilby, and he has everybody with him from the Te Deum to the recessional. But you'll be wonderful, too. Did you ever hear Charles Lawton give a Bible reading?
No, and I must say it sounds quite unexpected.
Unexpected, but intensely interesting. And funny, too. In fact, it inspired me to do a great deal more Bible reading.
Well, I'm afraid I haven't Mr. Lawton's elocutionary gifts. But if Captain Bligh can do it without the congregation resorting to mutiny, maybe Dr. Christian Hall can rely on the students' bounty of generosity. I say, that was rather good, wasn't it?
It was splendid. Just go on like that and you'll wow them.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Before we return to the halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman, let's listen to the story of a man who not only kept up with the Joneses, but found himself considerably ahead of them, simply by doing the most natural thing in the world.
Last night I told Ethel, that's my wife, Ethel, you shouldn't be so self-conscious. The Joneses will just have to take us for what we are. But you know women. And Ethel, well, when we've got company coming, especially the Joneses, there's just no living with her. She's so afraid of what they might think. Gets in a regular stew about how she looks, how the house looks, what kind of jokes I'm liable to tell. You know, you probably have a wife of your own. And like your wife, Ethel usually gets herself all worked up for nothing. That's how it was last night when the Joneses came over. The minute they walked in, I could see Ethel was nervous as a cat. So, just to break the ice, I went into the kitchen and got out the Schlitz beer. When I brought it in, Jones started to look interested right away. Said he had heard a lot about Schlitz, but never tasted it. Which was kind of a surprise, because Jones is one of those fellows who's so particular about everything. Always insists on the best, or so he says. Anyway, Jones raised his glass of Schlitz, and we both drank. First thing you know, Jones put his glass down, and with a satisfied look on his face, slapped his knee, turned to Ethel, and said, Ethel, I don't know who deserves the credit, you or that husband of yours, but by George, this is the best glass of beer I've tasted in years. Well, that did it. That's all Ethel needed. You should have seen her face, just like a kid's at Christmas. As for Jones, he never even noticed. He was still busy talking. And he took the words right out of my mouth when he said, no wonder they call Schlitz the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Surround us here today.
As we return to Ivy, we find a perturbed Dr. Hall striding back and forth in the living room, as Mrs. Hall says.
Toddy, stop pacing. Break into a trot or a single foot or a gallop. Or better still, sit down here with me.
I'm a little restless, Victoria. That matter of the Lee girl. You know, I went to the station to find her. I thought I might be able to persuade her to reconsider, but I was too late.
I'm awfully sorry. I'm sure you could have done something. You're very persuasive, you know.
Then I wired her aboard the train. But not knowing what space she was occupying, I wasn't any too...
It's the telephone.
I know, I hear it, but where is it? I'm going to put that extension cord on a deep-sea fishing reel with a strong string.
It's right near me somewhere. Oh, here, under the evening paper.
Thank you. Dr. Hall's residence. Spokane, Washington?
Good heavens, the Lee girl must have taken a very fast
train. Yes, put him on, please. Hello, Frederick? Yes, I am indeed. Now, are you ready? Rook to the King's Bishops 3. Check. How do you like them apples, Frederick? Goodbye. Poor old Friendly. Lost both nights last September and can't get his queen out.
Oh, don't these long-distance chess games run up some pretty fancy telephone bills?
Oh, not for me, my love. You'll notice that I always receive the calls. I never initiate them.
Oh,
I only play cross-country chess with those of my professional acquaintances who are equipped to finance them, and at their invitation. Oh, I'm no Reshevsky, but... playing 20 simultaneous games blindfolded, but I'm pretty good.
I didn't know there were any college professors who could afford that sort of playing.
Oh, there are a few. Pitifully few, I must admit. You know the ones who have written cloak and sword novels for Hollywood, under assumed names, of course. And the unmarried ones who prefer to spend their budgets playing chess by phone rather than go night clubbing.
You gave up a lot of things to marry me, too, didn't you?
I certainly did, my darling. Bad meals, dull evenings, risky encounters with emotional undergraduates, and a growing certainty that life was passing me by. Like poor old Frederick in Spokane, without a queen, I was playing a losing game.
Well, Toddy, you're so dependable, particularly when it comes to giving a wife the right answers.
I think one of the reasons I fell so deeply, and so permanently, in love with you, Vicky, was because you asked the kind of questions I was able to answer.
Oh, one of the reasons I loved you, Toddy, was that if you didn't know the answers, you made them up. It didn't happen many times.
You've a very gracious memory, my sweet. You asked a million questions I was unable to answer. Remember the evening by the sea at Brighton? With the full moon across the water and dance music from the hotel, battling the elements to be heard.
It's been a lovely evening, William. I remember it for a long, long... I remember it always.
You won't have to make any effort toward it, Victoria. I'll be reminding you. By mail, by cable, by... Is there such a thing as a carrier seagull?
Well, if there isn't, I'll train a few. Has anyone ever had a pet seagull?
I don't know, my dear. But if I were a seagull and you wanted me for a pet, I'm sure I... Did you shiver? Are you cold?
I've never been warmer. I was just shaking off the thought that we'd ever have to communicate with each other by mail or cable or seagull. Tell me, doesn't a sabbatical ever stretch?
Only when one has wealthy relatives and a disregard for one's job, Vicky. And I have neither. My sabbatical stretches only into next week.
It seems only a week since it started. For us, I mean.
Oh, it started earlier for me. It started when I bought one ticket to give them tears. Because I didn't know where else to go for the evening.
I think I knew you were there, even then.
No, you didn't. That was the night the man who played the vicar had such a cold that you were reading all his lines. You were too busy.
Whatever made you come back?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Not the faintest?
Oh, well, possibly. It was because I just happened to think that you were the most delightful, the most charming, the most enchanting, the most...
Go on.
Go on.
Oh, is that all? I wish you'd come backstage after the first time you saw the play, William, instead of the 27th. It's too bad we can't reach around in time and snatch back a few lost weeks, isn't it?
It's not completely lost, my dear. I saw you almost every night and dreamed of you every day. I was on my way to becoming the traditional absent-minded professor instead of the most timid one. Oh, Vicky, my dear, I am so very fond of you.
And I'm very fond of you, William. In fact, I'm very fond of everything tonight. Life and the sea and the moon and the... Professor, why is the moon always associated with lovers?
Well, considering that I have been in love for such a short time, my dear, I'm rather ill-equipped to answer that question. But, unless I'm wrong, the moon was once part of this earth. And I suppose that lovers are really a little bit a part of each other. They share an orbit of their own.
It's strange, isn't it? That the moon has been shared by millions of lovers and is still on an exclusive basis with all of them. It's our moon, isn't it, William?
Yes. I filed our claim this morning with the Royal Astronomical Society in London.
Good.
I also claimed a proprietary interest in every seventh wave, every fifth seagull.
Beg pardon, sir, it's 10 o'clock.
Listen to them, Victoria. Even the seagulls sound human tonight.
Sir?
I could swear that one of them spoke to me.
Honey, darling, Penny is speaking to you.
Penny, do seagulls have sense? Oh, Penny! I was thinking of something else. What is it, Penny?
10 o'clock, sir. You said to let you know when it was 10 o'clock. On account of you wanted to get to bed early. On account of you was going to talk in chapel tomorrow.
Yes.
And on...
Yes, Penny, so he did.
Thank you, Penny. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, Mum.
Toddy, you were 1,000,000 miles away.
238,857 to be exact. Curious, isn't it, Vicky? That so much has been said about the man in the moon, and so little about the moon in a man.
Darling, what are you talking about?
Oh, just a brief planetary excursion. Speaking of which, if I am to star in chapel tomorrow, I must get some sleep.
Your routine set?
Victoria, you make me sound like a trained seal.
I'm sorry, darling. Do you know what you're going to say?
Well, I know my text, but I guess the sermon will have to, sort of come out its own way.
You're going to talk about Margaret Lee.
Yes, I am.
I don't believe Dr. Gilby would have done that.
I don't think it's quite as much his problem as mine. But his chapel is a house of truth, and I'm going to tell the truth about Margaret Lee.
Good for you. Now get some sleep so you look absolutely dreamy in the morning.
Well, now, Victoria.
And I'll be in the third row center, right across the aisle from the critics. Oh, Toddy, I can hardly wait.
Wait? For what, my dear?
For the papers. I'm dying to read your notices.
Good morning. I am glad to report that Dr. Gilby is not seriously ill and should be with you again tomorrow. I welcome this opportunity to call to your attention a situation which has arisen here at Ivy. And since it concerns a matter of faith, there could be no better place to speak of it than in this chapel, and no better time for it than on the eve of National Brotherhood Week, proclaimed by our president throughout the nation. A young woman, a brilliant student, with such a record of achievement and reputation for integrity that she was an outstanding candidate for the highest office within the gift of the undergraduate body. This young woman has left Ivy and returned to her home. Against unfair student politics, snobbery, and racial prejudice, she fought a good fight and thought she had lost. In her conception and practice of decent human behavior, she has shown, I believe, no lack. Therefore, she does not leave here the poorer. Rather is it some of you who have found wanting. And by the same token, I, too, must have a sense of failure. Tolerance is a word I would rather not use. It seems to indicate a condescension. I prefer the word understanding. And intelligent understanding is as essential to our study of human relationship as it is to our comprehension of Latin or science. We must learn not only the meaning of democracy, but its application and practice. Or in after years, our boast of a superior way of life will be a sham, and Ivy College will have failed in its primary function, a preparation for life. I would like now to inform you that I have been in communication with this young lady, and she is returning to school. I hope I may rely on the student body to conduct the forthcoming election for president of the council on a basis of merit untinged by social bias, so that her faith in us will be restored. Ladies and gentlemen of Ivy, the human race is not an exclusive club with a selective membership. We are all members from birth. True, it has both active and associate members, and it is up to each of us to provide our own classification. But I consider it one of the most important functions of education, so to instruct you in the humanities, that when your membership in this human society is ended, the recording secretary may mark you paid in full.
Curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
And here again are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We'll be seeing you next week at this time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. The other players were Barbara Jean Wong, Gloria Gordon, Herb Butterfield, and Willard Waterman. Tonight's script was written by Don Quinn and Walter Brown Newman. Our music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. The Halls of Ivy was created by Don Quinn, directed by Nat Wolfe, and presented by the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ken Carpenter speaking.
Oh, we love the halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far, far away.
Now stay tuned for We the People over most of these NBC stations.
ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Day.
Dennis Day is brought to you by Colgate Dental Cream and Luster Cream Shampoo. Colgate Dental Cream, to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Luster Cream, the cream shampoo for true hair loveliness.
The Dennis Day Show with Barbara Eiler, Bea Benadera, Dink Trout, John Brown, Charles Dant in the orchestra, and yours truly, Vern Smith, is written by Frank Galen and stars our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Here's Dennis to sing A Feudin' and a Fightin'.
Dagnammit, here we go again, Ma. Feudin' and fussin' and a fightin'. Sometimes it gets to be excitin'. Don't like them ornery neighbors down by the creek. We'll be plumb out of neighbors next week. Grandma, poor old Grandma, why'd I have to shoot poor Grandma? She lies neath the clover. Someone caught her bending over, picking up the daisy, feuding and fussing and a fighting. Taking my heart, I love you. This is a wrong that needs a righting. Let's get that funeral service over, so then we can start in a feuding again. You must remember this: a kiss is just a kiss, a sigh is just a sigh as time goes by. Daughter, baby daughter, oh, she poisoned all the neighbors' chicken. Now, daughter, she had an otter. Lee still she could have run like the Dickens. They hit her with a shovel, feuding and fighting and a fussin'. No use a standing here a cussin'. Let's give our daughter a pistol now that she's 4 and go feuding and fighting some more. Ooh, they got me.
Famous beauty authority Kay Dumas sends all women her secret of true hair loveliness. For the shining hair that men love, discover that touch of magic, Luster Cream Shampoo. Discover the remarkable way Luster Cream Shampoo makes hair gleam with natural highlights and shadows, sparkle with silken softness, delight with clean fragrance. Not a soap, not a liquid, Luster Cream Shampoo is an amazing new dainty cream that whips up luxurious lather like magic in hard or soft water and sweeps dullness away. Out of her wealth of cosmetic lore, Kay Dumas blended gentle lanolin with special secret ingredients to achieve this revolutionary new cream that brings out the rich, natural beauty of your hair, leaves it obedient to brush and comb. Try that economical $1 jar of Luster Cream Shampoo sold at all cosmetic counters, also 30-cent and 55-cent sizes. And learn what more and more women of all ages are learning every day, the way to new glamour with Luster Cream, the cream shampoo for true hair loveliness. And now, once again, we bring you A Day in the Life of Dennis Day, the story of a lovable young boy and his uphill struggle to become average. Last June, as you may remember, Dennis's boss, Mr. Willoughby, decided to close his store during July and August, thus forcing our young hero to spend the summer back home with his folks. So it's been 2 months since anyone in Weaverville has seen him. Have you missed your employee, Mr. Willoughby?
Missed him?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes. Oh, now, Mr. Willoughby, I'm sure that attitude isn't true of the folks over at the Anderson boarding house, especially his girlfriend, Mildred. Is it, Mildred?
It certainly isn't. Dennis is a perfect darling.
My mother and a lot of other people in this town think he hasn't much sense and no initiative or ambition. Well, they're the ones who never tried loving him and are just willing to sit back and rely on evidence.
Oh, I take it then that your mother doesn't quite approve of your boyfriend. Is that right, Mrs. Anderson?
Let's put it this way. I'm a woman who has always followed the policy of live and let live. But in Dennis's case, I'm willing to make an exception.
Oh, my. I'm sure your husband doesn't feel that way, Mrs. Anderson. Do you, Mr. Anderson?
Do you, Herbert?
I can express my opinion in just 2 words. The same 2 words I express all my opinions with. Yes, Poopsie.
I see. Well, I'm sure our young hero is fully aware of these conflicting opinions, and tonight as he walks down Elm Street from the bus depot to rejoin the Andersons, it must comfort him to know that at least his girlfriend Mildred... Hey, wait a minute. What is this sight that greets his eyes on the darkened porch of the Anderson house? 2 figures very close together. One indisputably Mildred, and the other a man, a strange man. The figures get even closer together, then separate. One leaves, the other stays. Galvanized into action, our hero sprints forward and dashes up the steps.
Mildred Anderson.
Dennis!
So, you're just like the rest of your sex. Whenever a fella comes home and finds someone in the arms of a man, it's always a woman.
Now, look, Dennis.
I saw you with your arm around him.
But, Dennis.
And he had his arm around you.
But, Dennis.
And your lips were puckered.
Dennis.
Don't you know you could get kissed that way?
Dennis, stop being silly.
Silly? That's just how it happens. I know from personal hearsay.
Dennis, if you'd only let me explain.
Ha!
Here I've been counting the days till you come back.
You didn't have to call in someone to count with you. Who is this fellow? How long have you been friends?
3 days.
So, that's the kind he is. I might have guessed.
Well, what do you mean?
Only known you 3 days and already he's letting you kiss him. That.
Letting? Now, look, he kissed me, and I didn't let him. He just turned around and did it before I could stop him.
A likely story, my good woman. Just remember that 2 can play at that game. I mean, besides the 2 who are playing it already.
Dennis, honestly, Mr. Stewart means nothing to me. He's just the producer of the summer stock company that's been playing in town. I was only talking to him on account of Mother.
Oh, sure.
But it's true. Don't you trust your own fiancé?
Our fiancé-ship is at an end, Mildred. I bid you good night.
What?
You heard me, and I'll thank you to return my boy ranger badge in the morning.
Dennis, you can't mean that.
All I can say is that it's a lucky thing I found this out before we were married. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more difficult to break our engagement.
But, Dennis, I told you the truth.
I have spoken, Mildred.
Dennis, you're crazy. Even if it were like you thought, surely you'd give me another chance.
No, Mildred. No woman's going to 2-time me 2 times. Good night.
Dennis! Oh, golly, of all the awful things to happen. Darn that Mr. Stewart, anyhow. If I ever get my hands on him...
Mildred, what on earth's wrong with Dennis? He walked right past me without even saying hello.
Oh, it's that darn summer theater director, Mr. Stewart. He pretended he was showing me a scene, and then he tried to kiss me, and Dennis saw him.
Mr. Stewart? Oh, Mildred, did you ask him about me?
Mother, Dennis and I have split up. Don't you even care?
Oh, yes, of course. Inwardly, I'm a mess, but life must go on. What did he say about me?
If it's any satisfaction to you, he said you could take Mrs. Green's place. You'll be Lady Macbeth on opening night.
Oh, Mildred, how perfectly wonderful.
Wonderful? How can you stand there and say anything's wonderful? I've lost my Dennis forever. What am I going to do?
Now, darling, don't you worry. We'll stop by Robinson's pet shop first thing in the morning and buy you a Cocker Spaniel.
Dennis, it's me, Herbert Anderson.
Oh, come in, Mr. Anderson.
I just thought I'd drop in and welcome you to... Why, Dennis, you haven't even unpacked.
I'm not going to, Mr. Anderson. I'm leaving this place.
Leaving? Why?
Mr. Anderson, suppose you came home suddenly one night and found someone kissing your wife.
Someone with a will of iron, you mean?
Yes, sir. Well, that's what happened to me.
Really? Well, still, I don't see why you should leave just because you caught someone kissing my wife.
It wasn't your wife, it was Mildred.
Mildred? You caught Mildred doing a thing like that?
Yes, sir. Hugging and kissing a man in cold blood. I feel pretty bad, Mr. Anderson. I was looking forward to marriage. It's kind of hard to give up my dreams.
Yes, I know, Dennis. And I'm truly sorry. Is there anything I can do?
No, sir. It's nice of you, but I want Mildred or nothing.
Oh, no. I mean, is there anything I can do to help? After all, you can't just give up, you know.
Huh?
Well, you're going to put up a fight for her, aren't you? Where's your masculinity? Where's your virility? You've got the same amount I have, haven't you?
Yes, sir. I guess I'm dead.
Oh, nonsense. Don't you suppose I had a rival for Pupsy's hand? But did I stand idly by? No. I got in there and fought like a tiger.
Gee, and you were the victor, huh?
Well, it certainly looked like it at that time, yes.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Now, who is this rival of yours?
Well, I think his name is Stewart.
The fellow who's putting Macbeth on in the Summer Theater? Why, he's only been in town for a couple of days.
I know. I guess he's just easy to love.
Yeah. Well, we've got to get rid of him.
Well, I suppose he'll leave when the play closes, but that may be too late.
Yes, I'm afraid you're, Well, now, wait a minute. Suppose the play closed after one performance. That wouldn't be too late.
But why would it close so soon?
Well, what if the critic in the Daily Bugle gave the show a terrible panning?
But suppose the critic likes the play.
He wouldn't if we had our own critic doing the job.
Huh?
Look, suppose a big movie actor came to town and offered the present critic a swell job in Hollywood. He'd go, wouldn't he?
I suppose he would.
Then there's your answer.
That's my answer?
Sure.
Maybe I better hear the question again.
Well, don't you see, Dennis? Now, look, you're good at imitation. You can impersonate the star. We'll bundle you up in a muffler, you can wear dark glasses, and the critic will be fooled by the voice.
Gee, and then when we've got him out of town, I could write the criticism myself. Say, it might work at that.
Of course. Now, what movie star can you be?
Well, how about...
Come on, Nellie. What's the matter? You crazy or something? Oh, no. Somebody who's more dramatic.
Oh, well, maybe...
Racing with the moon, high above the midnight blue.
No, not that dramatic. No. Besides, they aren't real actors. Now, couldn't you be a real picture star?
How about Betty Grable?
Dennis, all we have to work with is a muffler and dark glasses.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking of wearing a bathing suit, but he might spot me.
Very possible. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what you do. You think of somebody overnight. I'll be down to Willoughby's store tomorrow to pick you up, and we'll call on this critic together.
Okay. Let's see now.
That's my boy who said that. Umbriago. No. Hetty, you are so lovely, Hetty.
No. And my sweetie face gave me a great big beautiful bird book.
Morning, Mr. Willoughby.
Good morning, Dennis.
Well, here I am. Did you remember this is the day I was to come back to work?
Certainly. Can't you see I'm wearing a black tie?
Gee, you don't change much, do you, Mr. Willoughby?
No. Well, get to work, my boy. I'll phone the insurance company and tell them you're back and they can raise our rates.
Oh, yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, you'll be in charge of the store today. I have to leave in a few minutes for the summer theater rehearsal.
The summer theater? Mm-hmm. You mean the one that's putting on Macbeth tonight?
Uh-huh. Haven't you heard? I'm one of the play's principal backers.
You put money into it?
$500. What's the matter? Haven't you ever heard of a businessman becoming an angel?
Yes, sir. I may make it before you do.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Willoughby, let me ask you a purely hypothetical question. If a certain person, who shall be nameless, was instrumental in your losing money, what would you do?
I'd fire you in a minute.
Oh. Well, in that case, I must ask you another question. If you had to choose between love and your career, which would you take?
Love?
Sure, love. You know, what men feel for horses, dogs, and women and stuff like that.
would I know about love? I've been married for 15 years.
Oh, I see.
But I guess if I were young and free and had to choose, I'd take love.
You would?
Certainly. Any red-blooded man would.
How about one in whom the white corpuscles dominate?
That kind, too.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that, Mr. Willoughby. I guess you and I think the same way.
That's about the nastiest crack I've ever heard.
Oh, what I meant was...
Answer that and then get back to work.
Yes, sir. Willoughby store. Oh, hello, Mr. Anderson. Yeah, pick me up on my lunch hour and we'll go over and see that critic. I've had to choose between love and a career, and I've chosen love. I've made my bed, Mr. Anderson. Now I only hope I can lie my way out of it.
Now, don't be nervous, Dennis. There's nothing to worry about. Just remember, you're a big Hollywood star.
Okay, I'm ready.
Good.
Come in.
Ah, Mr. Helcott, the eminent critic, I presume. My name is Coleman.
Coleman? Well, you don't mean...
Yes, old boy. Ronnie. Natch.
Why, this is an honor, Mr. Coleman. I'd never have recognized you with that muffler over your face.
Well, Mr. Coleman's got a bad head cold.
Yes, old boy. I can hardly get my nose open to talk through it.
Oh, I see. Well, this certainly is a thrill for a modest, unassuming, and extremely talented critic like myself. I've always been a great admirer of yours, Mr. Coleman.
Splendid. You have frightfully good taste, old man.
Yes, and I just loved the late George Apley.
Oh, we all did, old boy. All Hollywood turned out for the funeral.
You see, he's referring to your last picture, Ronald. The late George Apley. That was the title.
Oh, of course, to be sure. So many things on my mind, you know.
Yes, I guess you Hollywood people have a lot to think about.
Oh, quite.
I'd certainly like to visit that town someday. I've heard so much about everything in it. Grauman's Chinese.
Oh, yes. Splendid little chaps, all of them.
But isn't Grauman's Chinese a theater?
Well, Mr. Coleman doesn't get around.
Oh, yes. Family problems all the time, you know. I was saying to my wife just before I left. Hortense, I said...
Hortense?
Yes, my wife. Grand girl. We're married.
But isn't your wife's name Benita?
Oh, to be sure. Always getting her confused with the maid. Well, anyway, I said to her, Benita, darling, we'll just have to do something about Junior.
Junior?
Yes, my son, wouldn't you say?
I don't think so.
You don't have a son, Ronald, remember?
Oh, well, I said to Benita, I said, darling, we'll just have to do something about Junior. Referring, I hope, to my daughter.
But you don't have a daughter either.
By Jove, you're quite right. And it's no wonder.
No wonder what?
No wonder we never did anything about Junior.
Ronald, I feel that the interview is getting out of hand.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think we'd better get to the business that brought us here.
Oh, quite, yes. Well, you see, Mr. Helcott, we've been reading your reviews in the local paper for some time.
No! Really, Mr. Coleman?
Yes. Yes, and we feel that you belong either in Hollywood or New York.
I belong in Hollywood or New York?
Whichever is farther.
I beg your pardon?
What Mr. Coleman means is, wouldn't you like to go?
Oh, of course.
Goodbye, old man, and Godspeed.
But I don't understand.
We have a job for you in Hollywood.
A job?
You'll be...
Oh, for a moment I thought you wanted me to work.
Oh, nothing like that. Now run along home and pack. We'll take over your duties here.
Yes, we'll put a fine young chap named Dennis Day right to work on your column.
Quite. Oh, is there anything special this Day person should know about your work?
Oh, no, it's very simple. I just review movies and plays like the one opening tonight. And, oh, yes, does this Mr. Day have a 5 or 6 year old nephew?
A 5 or 6 year old nephew?
For writing reviews of radio programs, you know.
Oh, I see. That explains a lot.
Yes. Well, thank you for this wonderful offer. Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll see you in Hollywood. I just can't wait to get to the bowl for Harry's piano recital.
Dennis, we did it.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And just wait till my review of Macbeth appears. There'll never be another performance by that company.
Your rival is as good as out of town right now. We'll...
Uh-oh. Do you suppose that fellow changed his mind about going?
Gee, I don't know. Come in.
Mr. Helcott, I brought your tickets, but... Why, Herbert Anderson and Dennis. Where's Mr. Helcott?
Well, I'm the critic here now, Mr. Willoughby. I did like you told me. I chose love.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Helcott has left town, Homer. Dennis is taking his place.
Dennis is... Why, that means he'll review my play. My boy. My dear, dear boy.
No use, Mr. Willoughby. It's no use. Yours was not the love I chose.
Why, Dennis, what do you mean?
You know how a good play can get 4 bells?
Yeah?
Yours won't even get a door buzzer.
You mean you're going to pan my play? You can't.
When the play is over tonight, just don't bother sweeping out the place for tomorrow, that's all.
Oh, so that's your attitude, is it? Well, I'll fix you. You'll never get into that theater tonight. I'll have guards posted at every door just to watch for you.
But you can't
I
do that.
can, huh? I can and I will. Goodbye.
Gee, what are we going to do now, Mr. Anderson?
Do? Why, sit right down at that desk and start reviewing the play.
But I haven't seen the play. I can't write up something I don't know anything about, can I?
My boy, you keep forgetting you're a critic. Now, go to work on your criticism, and don't be subtle.
Well, all right. Let's see now. Last night at the Weaverville Summer Theater, an audience of first-nighters was practically nauseated by the most horrible production ever to smell up a playhouse. Too subtle?
No, I think they'll know what you mean.
Good. Now let's see if I can think up something nasty.
Is ready.
Hi, Mildred. My, don't you look pretty this morning.
Why, Dennis, aren't you mad at me anymore?
You mean over that silly Mr. Stewart? What for? I took care of him. See the morning paper?
Oh, I know.
Well, I got myself appointed dramatic critic on it yesterday. And after what I said about that play, he'll never show his face around here again. Smart, huh?
Dennis, you mean you panned the play?
You bet. And every actor and actress in it. Ooh, what I said.
Lady Macbeth, too?
Oh, her I gave the full treatment.
Oh, Dennis.
Huh?
My mother played Lady Macbeth.
Your mother?
Yes.
Mildred, incredible as it may seem, I think I've made a blunder. Boy, will I hear from your mother when she reads that review.
Dennis Day.
I've heard from her.
So, there you are, you worm. Did you write this review in the paper?
Yes, ma'am, but...
How dare you print a thing like this? The play was sick to start with, but it never recovered once Lady Macbeth made an entrance on her two big left feet.
Just a simple mistake in counting, Mrs. Anderson.
And what about your next line? That when I got on the stage, something unfortunate happened to the lights. They stayed on.
Sure he didn't mean that the way it sounds.
Stop making excuses for him. This time he's gone too far. This time I'm going to...
Mr. Willoughby.
I want to see you.
You better hurry. Mrs. Anderson and I are having a little discussion from which I may never recover.
Mr. Willoughby, do you realize what this boy has done?
Well, certainly I do. He's made our play.
What?
10 minutes after that paper hit the street, our box office was swamped with calls. The play's a sellout. Dennis, you're a doll.
Gee, I lead the most uncertain life.
But I don't understand. After that frightful review...
That's what did it. All we needed was a good panning. They panned Avy's Irish Rose, didn't they? And Tobacco Road? We may run 10 years.
Oh, Dennis, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, me too. Gee, can you imagine? Being panned by a critic turns out to be even better than being banned in Boston.
Dennis Day will be back in just a moment with a song. But first, here's a fact worth knowing.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And that's important, as our Colgate players are going to demonstrate. Seen a beach where a smooth-looking bathing beauty is having a pretty grim time. Listen.
Oh, look at those men. All they can see is that girl in a red bathing suit.
Well, they can't see you if you hide way down at this end of the beach, Claire.
Well, they can't see me no matter where I am, and that's the truth.
Claire, breath trouble cramps any girl's style. So how about seeing your dentist, honey?
And here's what Claire found out.
Scientific tests prove that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. And Colgate's safe polishing agent brings out the natural sparkle of your teeth, cleans them thoroughly and safely.
Yes, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. Nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate's is preferred for flavor over other brands tested.
So to clean your teeth thoroughly and safely, for a wake-up flavor everyone enjoys, use Colgate Dental Cream. Remember, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. With Charles Dant and the orchestra, here's Dennis to sing Peg of My Heart.
Peg of my heart, I love you, will never part. I love you, dear little girl, sweet little girl, sweeter than the rose of Erin are your winning smiles endearing. Peg o' my heart, your glances with Irish art entrance us. Come be my own, come make your home in my than the rose of Erin are your winning smiles endearing. Peg o' my heart, your glances with Irish art entrance us. Come be my own, come make your home in my
Next week, tune in to another Dennis Day Show brought to you by Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth, and Luster Cream Shampoo, the cream shampoo for true hair loveliness.
Remember, doctors prove the Palmolive plan brings 2 out of 3 women lovelier complexions in 14 days. And this beauty plan with Palmolive soap was tested on women with all types of skin. Dry, oily, even skin that was not clear. Yes, 36 doctors proved the 14-day Palmolive plan improves all types of skin, brings fresher, brighter, younger-looking complexions. So get Palmolive soap and start your 14-day Palmolive plan now.
This is Vern Smith reminding you that Judy Canova's vacation is over and she'll be back on the air this Saturday night. So if it's laughter you're after, be sure to tune in the Judy Canova Show this Saturday night over most of these same stations. Tonight, stay tuned for the Summerfield Bandstand, which follows immediately.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
From
From Hollywood, Colgate Tooth Powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle presents the Mel Blanc Show.
My lawnmower needs sharpening. I've got to take it to Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
My percolator top is cracked. I've got to take it to Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
Oh, my stocking has a run in it. I've got to take it to Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
My wife's going to have a baby. I got to take her to Mel Blanc to the hospital.
Colgate Tooth Powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle brings you the Mel Blanc Show with Mary Jane Croft, Earl Ross, Joe Kearns, Zookie, Victor Miller and his orchestra, and as the star in his own Fix-It shop, Mel Blanc. Now, let's pay a visit to the town where Mel Blanc lives. It's like most towns in the United States, except for one thing. It's got Mel Blanc, and that's what makes it a lot different. Well, let's drop in on Mel Blanc in his Fix-It shop. It's a bright, sunshiny day, and Mel is busily working away on something.
Well, I sure straightened out that safety pin. Let's see now, what else is there?
Well, good morning, Melvin.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Cushing.
Mel, how come you didn't show up at our last zebra meeting?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Cushing, I'm not very interested in the benevolent order of loyal zebras.
Well, why not? After all, aren't you exalted ruler of the lower level?
Exalted ruler of the lower level. All it means is I'm in charge of sweeping out the cellar. It's okay for you. You're the mighty, supreme, mightiest, exalted ruler, potentate monarch, senior grade.
All right. At our next meeting, I'll see about changing your title. Oh, incidentally, we've got a new password.
Yeah? What is it?
Ugga, ugga, boo, ugga, boo, boo, ugga.
Ugga, ugga, boo, boo, ugga? Well, what happened to the old one? Hi, mocha, si, hungry, heebie-jeebie, alligator, sweet cookie.
Well, you know that new member we got, that 75-year-old Mr. Simpson?
Yeah?
Well, he tried to say it and developed lower plate wobble.
Oh, too bad. I like the old one. I could say it faster than any other zebra. Oh, what do you got in this white box, Mr. Cushing?
In here? Oh, I've got Sally in here.
Oh, isn't it kind of stuffy for her?
No. No, Sally's the name of my fishing rod and reel. Here.
Oh, gosh, I never heard of a man calling a fishing rod and reel Sally.
Well, you should hear what I call her when she lets a big one get away.
Looks like the reel is a little fouled up.
Yes, well, that's why I brought her here, Mel. I want you to fix her up. You see, some of the boys at my real estate office have arranged a fishing trip at Lake Minnewasahaha.
Oh, I'm a Kasai hungry, heebie-jeebie, alligator, took it for... Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were giving me the password.
Well, we've got to be very secretive about it because we've told our wives we're going on a business trip. Now, if they find out we're playing hooky, well, you've seen my wife, Mrs. Cushing.
Gosh, yes, I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
What?
Well, I mean, if she finds out about the fishing trip, she'd be awfully mad, and I wouldn't want that to happen.
Yes, well, that's the idea. Now, another thing, Mel. I want you to go out to the lake and go over Mary Lou.
Who's Mary Lou? Sally's sister?
Oh, no. She's the trimmest little motorboat that ever took to water. I want you to check her from stem to stern.
Aye, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, that's fine. And remember, Mel, don't tell a soul. And if you do a good job, perhaps you'll be made exalted ruler of the upper region.
Well, I don't like cleaning up the attic either. But don't worry about the fishing trip. I won't tell a soul.
That's good. You do a good job, and I'll use my influence to make you a big zebra.
Gosh, thanks. Oh, by the way, when do you want Sally? I mean the fishing rod.
Well, bring it to the corner of Market and Maple at 6 tonight. I don't want you coming to the office or the house.
Okay, 6 with Sally, and after that over to the lake for Mary Lou. Mm-hmm. Sounds like I'm taking care of a girl's sorority. Silly.
By the way, Mel, here's a picture of old Mary Lou so you'll recognize her at the lake.
Oh, fine, thanks.
Well, so long, Melvin, my lad. Ugga, ugga, boo, ugga, boo, boo, ugga.
Yeah, ugga, boo, boo, boo. Ugga. I don't know. I still like Hi Mocha, hungry, heebie-jeebie, alligator, sweet cookie better. Ugga, boo. Hello, nephew. Oh, hello, Uncle. Say, where'd you been?
Oh, I was upstairs conducting my experiments on quantitative analysis with liquids.
Oh, you were experimenting with water?
Water? Brrr, what a horrible word. By the way, what were you discussing with that pompous real estate muckety-muck cushy?
Oh, he's going on a fishing trip, and he doesn't want anyone to know about it. Imagine lying to your own wife.
Despicable, my boy, but sometimes very necessary. I remember
I hope I never have to lie to my girl, Betty.
Hello, Mel.
Oh, speak of the beautiful, here she is. Hello, Betty.
Mel, do you know what day this is?
Yeah, Tuesday the 8th of October, and you sound like you're catching cold.
That's right. 5 years ago today, you gave me my engagement ring.
Gosh, it only seems like 5 years.
Remember how all the girls turned green with envy?
Yeah, now the ring is the same color.
Well, anyway, darling, I want you to come over for dinner tonight. We'll make it kind of special.
Special?
Yes, Father has promised to treat you like a human being.
Gee, that will be kind of special. I'll be glad to come. Oh, but.
Well, what, dear?
Well, you see, I have an important job to do, and it may take me all evening.
Oh, Mel, and I was planning such a lovely dinner. Fish.
Fish? Well, that's nice, but, well, you see, this is a big job, and I promised
Well, I guess business should come first.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, honey.
We'll try to drop by for a minute anyhow. Huh?
Yeah, I will, honey.
Okay, bye, dear.
Bye. Oh, darn it.
What is it, nephew?
Oh, Betty wanted me to come over tonight, but I can't. Well, at least it'll make her father feel good.
My lad, you shouldn't kowtow to Betty's father.
I don't kowtow. I mean kowtow to him. As a matter of fact, I'm going over there tonight. And if he says one harsh word to me, you know what I'll do?
What?
I'll listen.
Use Colgate tooth powder, keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it each night.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
How often it happens, you meet a man and you think he's a nice fellow, but what? Well, you hate to say it, but it's that little breath of trouble. I mean, unpleasing breath. And the chances are this chap doesn't dream that a breath of trouble is tagging him, making him unpopular, hindering him in business, spoiling his fun. Without suspecting it, you may be the victim of unpleasing breath. So be on your guard against it. Just do this. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, no dentifrice at any price cleans your teeth more quickly and thoroughly than Colgate tooth powder. Remember to buy it first thing. And remember the name Colgate tooth powder with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
Well, Betty is disappointed that Mel can't have dinner with her on their 5th engagement anniversary. What Betty doesn't know is that she's playing second fiddle to a rod and reel Mel is secretly fixing for Mr. Cushing. Right now, Mel has dropped in for a few minutes at Betty's house.
Hello, Betty. I thought I'd drop in for a minute.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mel. Daddy Mel's here.
What did you say, Mr. Colby? Yeah, it is a nice day, isn't it?
You know, Mel, Father was looking forward to this evening. He even promised to go to the movies with us.
Gee, that would have been swell. We could have stopped by for a soda and walked home in the moonlight, sat on the porch and held hands.
I didn't promise anything like that.
Oh, I mean Betty and me.
You know I gave up a date at the bowling alley for this anniversary.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Colby. I know you spend at least one night a week in the alley.
What?
The bowling alley.
Daddy, stop making Mel nervous. Honey, tell me about this big job you've got tonight.
Oh, the job? Yeah.
Well?
I have a date to meet, Willie Johnson about fixing a card table.
Well, why should it take all evening to fix a card table?
Well, after I fix it, we might have to play a few games to see if the table works.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Now, Daddy, let's not cross-examine Mel. Here, honey, here's some chocolate cookies I baked. Your favorite, all wrapped up for you.
Gosh, thanks, Betty. Well, now I'd better go. Good night, Mr. Colby. What'd you say, Mr. Colby? Yeah, it is a nice day, isn't it? Well, goodbye, Betty.
Goodbye, dear.
Betty, come here. Did I hear Mel say he was going to see Willie Johnson?
Yes, why?
That's funny. I met Mrs. Johnson at the market today, and she said her son Willie is in New York and is going to stay there.
Yes, but Mel said...
I'll answer that. Hello?
Oh, hello, Mel. Your uncle told me I'd find you at Betty's house. Now, just answer yes or no, because I don't want that big baboon Betty's father to catch on.
Okay.
Well, now, listen. About our date, we have to change our plans. My wife gummed up the works.
Very interesting. I mean, yeah.
Now, listen. My girl will pick you up on the corner of Market and Maple. And don't forget to bring Sally.
Sally? I mean, yes. Anything else?
No. Ugga-boo, ugga-boo-boo, ugga. Goodbye.
So that's the way things are.
What was it, Father?
Boy, was I right about that innocent-looking boyfriend of yours. Come on.
Well, where are we going?
Market and Maple. And if what I think is true, somebody's going to get an ugga-ugga-boo over his head.
Mel over there all alone.
Huh?
Oh, this is silly.
Well, maybe it is. But we'll sit right here and see who he's waiting for. I don't think it will be Willie Johnson.
I wonder what's keeping Mr. Cushing. These cookies are good. Gosh, when it comes to sweet stuff, there's only one girl in the world for me.
Oh, yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo!
Are you, yoo-hooing me?
Yes, come on over here and don't be so bashful.
Well, look, I'm waiting for someone.
Oh, come now. Come on over to the car.
Well, yeah, but...
That's better.
Have a cookie?
I'm Grace, Mr. Cushing's secretary.
Oh, and I thought...
Well, I'm not that kind of a girl.
That's good. I'm not that kind of a boy.
Mr. Cushing dropped by at the office, so I'm here to pick up his favorite fishing rod, Sally. Is it ready?
Sure. Here you are.
Oh, yes. And, about that job on the boat, that can wait till tomorrow morning.
Say, that's great. Look, will you do me a favor? Drop me off at my girl's house?
Of course. Get in.
Good. I thought I wouldn't be able to see her tonight. Now maybe I can.
Daddy, did you see that Mel and that girl?
Willie Johnson's getting better looking every day.
Meeting girls on the corner and on our anniversary, too.
Why, that fox.
You mean Wolf?
No fox. They work faster. Bullard, I'm going to break every bone in that boy's body.
Oh?
Oh, now what are you sniffling about?
I want you to do it. But I love those bones so much.
Oh,
Gosh, I feel like a heel lying to Betty last night. I promised Mr. Cushing to keep it a secret.
Oh, Melvin, my boy.
Huh?
Zookie wants to know if you need him today.
Zookie? Say, that's it. That's what I'm going to do.
What, nephew?
I'm going to send Zookie out to Lake Minnewasahaha to fix that boat. Yes, sir, and I'm going to spend all day with Betty. After all, Zookie knows engines inside out.
Yes, and it's a pity he leaves them that way.
Oh, it's nice working out here on the lake. In the shade of the old apple, in the shade of the old apple, cocktails for two. Hey, I like being on a boat. Yeah, I like the water. This is sailing, sailing over the beach, sailing, sailing over the beach. My stomach feels funny.
Well, Zookie.
Hello.
How are you getting on with that engine? I didn't expect Mel to send an assistant.
Oh, it's okay, Mr. Cushing. Listen, I'll erase the motor. 120 horsepower.
80 horse power. It's 20 horsepower. One jackass.
Now hurry along. Hurry along. I want the Mary Lou to be right on the beam when the other boys get there.
Oh, sure. I dream of Jeannie with a light beat. I dream of Jeannie with a light beat. And may all your Christmases be white.
Mel left the shop looking for you this morning, Betty.
Oh, he did, Uncle Rupert?
Maybe that's him now. Did you answer it?
Yeah, all right. Hello, Mel Blanc, fix the chop.
Oh, Betty, this is
Yes. What is it, Zookie?
How'd you know it was me? Hey, will you tell Mel that I did what he told me, and everything's all right now with Mary Lou?
Mary Lou?
Oh, she was ready to blow a gasket when I got here. but now I got her purring like a kitten.
Rookie, are you sure you know?
Oh, yes. Just the same, Mel better come out and see Mary Lou the first chance he gets. Well, goodbye.
Rookie.
Betty, my dear, what is it?
First Sally, now Mary Lou. How many girls has he got?
Oh, Betty, there must be some mistake.
And I came here hoping I was wrong about him. Well, I never want to see him again. Never. And you can tell him that, Uncle Rupert.
Nell playing around with the women? Why, I'd never have thought it of him. Who does he think he is? Me? Where the devil is that lad, anyway? Uh-oh. Here comes Dr. Crab, the dog doctor. Hello, Christopher. How's the good dog doctor today?
Consultant veterinarian, if you don't mind.
What's the matter with you?
Keep telling you there's nothing the matter with me. Got a catch in my throat. Please, could I have a pan of water?
Look, Christopher, we're having all sorts of trouble. I'm trying to locate Mel.
Oh, I ran across Mel in the park while I was walking my little terrier.
You saw Mel? Where was he going?
You know, I'm worried about that little terrier. She came down with the shingles. How could she have gotten them shingles?
Maybe she had a priority.
That is not a joke. Oh, see Mel fix that leash for me. How'd he do it?
Oh, he just used a piece of tin.
What?
Tin. Like in Rin Tin Tin.
Oh, Rin Tin Tin.
Oh, goodbye.
Uncle Rupert, what are you talking about? What girls?
I don't know, my lad, but you'd better get over to Betty's house right away.
Girls. I don't know anything about girls.
Well, I can't have a man-to-man talk with you now.
Oh, but you know I don't have anything to do with girls. Except for Betty. I love her. So I don't think of her as a girl.
Nephew, I'd better take you aside and have a man-to-man talk with you right now.
Oh, how did I get into a mess like this?
The best thing for you to do, my lad, is pour your heart out to Betty. Tell her the only sin you've committed was that of being a man.
I refuse to tell her any such lie.
Mel?
Oh, Betty, what's the matter?
As angry as I am for what you've done, I had to come down here. You know that silver-handled cane you gave my father for his birthday?
Yes, and he never even used it.
Well, he's going to use it now. He's coming down here to beat you up with it.
Oh, do you realize how much that cane cost? Oh, Betty, this is ridiculous.
Is it ridiculous with Sally and Mary Lou?
Oh, I haven't gone out with girls. Sally is a fishing rod and Mary Lou is a boat.
Oh, Mel, if you think I believe that, you must take me for an idiot.
Yes. No. Oh, look, if you don't believe me, ask the boat. Ask Mr. Cushing. It's his Sally. It's Mary Lou's fishing reel. Oh, what am I saying?
Melvin, here's that picture of the Mary Lou.
Oh, the picture. That's wonderful. Uncle, you saved my life. Look, Betty, this'll explain everything. This picture was taken when Mr. Cushing caught the biggest trout of the season.
Huh?
Yeah, that's Sally in his hand, the fishing rod. And you see the name on the boat? Mary Lou.
What? Oh, that's what it does say. Oh, Mel. Oh, Daddy and I thought... Oh, Daddy.
Mel Blanc!
Mr. Colby. Mr. Colby, why are you staring at me like that?
I'm looking for a spot that has the most bones.
Well, stop looking at my head.
Young man, when I get through with you, you're going to be the most horrible-looking mess anybody ever saw.
That's nothing. You always say I look like that anyway.
What? Come here, my boy. I'm not going to hurt you.
No. Oh, you missed me.
I won't this time.
Oh, Mr. Cushing, am I glad to see you.
What's going on here? Somebody being initiated?
Oh, boy, am I glad you came. Quick, tell Mr. Colby about Mary Lou and Sally before he kills me.
Well, I don't know what all the trouble's about, but Sally is my fishing rod and Mary Lou is my boat, which I asked Mel to fix for me. And a very fine job he did, too.
Well, I'll be... Oh, Mel, why didn't you say so?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I promised Mr. Cushing to keep it a secret. That's what caused this whole trouble.
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, Mel, we didn't have to be secretive about the whole thing all along.
What?
No. It seems the trip was something the fellas arranged as a surprise party for me, and my wife was in on it all the time.
She was?
Yes. Mel, why are you staring at me like that?
Mel, put down that can.
Mel, remember, I'm a zebra. Oh, go.
We'll be back in a minute for a Zookieism.
What?
You never heard of a Zookieism? Well, hang around.
Use Colgate tooth powder. Keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it each night.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
Look, let's face the facts. A little breath of trouble, unpleasing breath, is no respecter of persons. Girl or woman, man or boy, teamster or tycoon, debutante or duchess. All are possible victims of unpleasing breath. Why, even you, though you don't suspect it, may risk your happiness, ruin your romance, even jeopardize your job because of unpleasing breath. So isn't it best to be on your guard, to watch out for that little breath of trouble? My advice is do this. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, no dentifrice at any price cleans your teeth more quickly and thoroughly than Colgate tooth powder. Remember to buy it first thing. Remember the name Colgate tooth powder with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
Well, we had quite a time when I tried to pull the wool over Betty's eyes. I hope it served as a lesson to you, Zuki.
Yes, Zuki. Every experience has a moral. Just what did you learn?
Well, I learned that you should always speak the truth. You should always speak the honest truth. You should always speak the truth. Silence is golden.
This is Buddy reminding you that Colgate tooth powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle brings you the Mel Blanc Show every Tuesday at this time. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday night for more fun with Mel and the people you'll meet in Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
Say hello to Halo Shampoo for naturally bright and beautiful hair. Remember, even finest soaps and soap shampoos hide the natural luster of your hair with dulling soap film. But Halo Shampoo contains no soap, therefore leaves no dulling soap film. Even in hardest water, Halo makes oceans of rich, fragrant lather, quickly banishes loose dandruff and dirt. Halo needs no lemon or vinegar rinse. Say hello to Halo and goodbye to dulling soap film. Get Halo Shampoo at any cosmetic counter.
Remember, Mel Blanc every Tuesday night at this time. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
It's Texaco time with Fred Allen. Texaco dealers from coast to coast present the Texaco Star Theater, starring Fred Allen, with Frank Sinatra, America's new singing sensation, Hilo Jack and the Dame, Portland Hopper, the Texaco Workshop Players, Al Goodman, and his orchestra. And this is yours truly, Jimmy Wallington, reminding you that even though you drive slower these days, warm weather can make your car wear out faster, unless it's protected by proper care and lubrication. Make your car last. Tomorrow, take it to your neighborhood Texaco dealer for a Texaco Spring Tonic. This week, ladies and gentlemen, Winston Churchill is in Washington. Every time Mr. Churchill meets Mr. Roosevelt, something happens. Tonight, we bring you a man who meets you every Sunday night, and nothing happens. And here he is, Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And Jimmy, I'm glad that you mentioned Mr. Churchill's visit. He certainly surprised everyone, dropping into Washington out of a clear sky.
Say, I wonder what Mr. Churchill came over to see the president about, Fred.
Well, he came over here to get a ration book, Jimmy.
Now, what does Winston Churchill need with a ration book?
When the time comes, Mr. Churchill wants to have enough points to bring home the bacon, Jimmy. That's the only reason he would want a ration book. You know, this is the fourth time the president and Mr. Churchill have met, twice at Washington, once at sea, and once at Casablanca.
Say, I wonder where they'll meet the next time, Fred.
In Berlin, Jimmy, I'm hoping. Do you know why the Germans and the Italians surrendered at Tunisia last week?
Why, Fred?
They know the quickest way they can get back home to Germany and Italy is to follow the American and English armies, Jimmy. You know, in the newsreels, I saw the Germans were yelling, Heil Hitler, and leaving the I out of Heil. I saw the picture. Well, it only goes to show...
Mr. Allen!
Portland, gee whiz. Well, you're just in time, Portland. Jimmy and I were talking over the news of the week. What's new to your grotesque way of thinking?
Nothing much.
Really?
Mama's learning to be a motorman.
Oh, yes. I read that New York is going to have women running the trolley cars shortly. Do you think your mother will make good running a trolley?
She should. Mama has a one-track mind.
Well, that helps. More power to the old lady. But have you tell me, have they trusted your mother? Have they trusted your mother out with a streetcar yet?
Yes. Mama made her solo trip yesterday.
Oh, she soloed, huh? How did she do?
Well, in the morning, Mama ran the trolley cross town on 42nd Street and only took him 85 cents.
Oh, she took a commission. She was working. If she had to pay commission on it, that's no good, is it?
In the afternoon, Mama cleaned up.
How?
During the rush hour, Mama ran her trolley down into the subway and made $48.
Oh, well, that's the thing to do if you're running a streetcar. Go where the money is. And go reminds me, Portland, we'd better go down to Allen's Alley.
Oh, have you a question?
Oh, yes. Today, with meat rationing, many people are starting to raise a few chickens along with their victory gardens. The Department of Agriculture has had thousands of requests for information on chicken raising. And so, keeping up with the times, our question tonight is, are you raising chickens? And if you are, how are you doing?
Shall we go?
Well, if we don't, the program will finish 25 minutes early. I'll take it. Let us away. Here we are back in Allen's Alley, Portland. I'll see if John Doe is in.
Oh, good evening, Brother Allen.
Are you raising any chickens, Mr. Doe?
Don't mention chickens to me. I've been married 30 years.
What has being married 30 years got to do with raising chickens?
Brother, one old cluck around the house is enough.
Well, it looks as though Mr. Doe with his old hen is all set. Let's see what's going on next door here.
No.
Ah, Mrs. Nussbaum, have you done anything about this poultry business?
I'm liking only one egg for breakfast.
One egg? Then you only need one chicken.
Exactly. A friend is getting for me also 1 chicken. A Plymouth Rock.
A Plymouth Rock.
A Plymouth Rock with nest complete.
Oh, you got a nest that came with the hen, huh? And the eggs started rolling in, did they?
What eggs? 2 weeks later, I am learning.
Learning what?
The nest is a nest, but the chicken is not a chicken.
No?
It is a rooster.
What did you do?
The next day, in a frenzy, I am cooking the whole business.
Well, how was it?
The rooster is soft,
Uh-huh.
but the nest is delicious.
Well, the next chicken, I wonder how Socrates Mulligan is faring. Every time you say hello, you air condition the place, Socrates. Tell me, have you been fooling around with chickens?
Yeah, when they got kids, I figured I'll get me a mix of eggs, hatch them out, and go into the chicken business.
Uh-huh, and you bought the eggs?
I was just going to when a friend wised me up.
How, Socrates?
This friend said, what do you want horsing around with eggs and chickens and hatching?
Yeah?
He says, get an incubator. It'll do the whole business.
And you bought an incubator?
6 months ago.
And today you are a chicken baron.
Today I am a dead duck.
Why, Socrates?
For 6 months I've been running out every morning.
Yes?
That darn incubator ain't laid an egg yet.
Well, Socrates will learn that you cannot egg an incubator on. Now, let's see what is going on in this little house at the end of the alley.
Bonsoir all, s'il vous plaît. Falstaff's here with Rondelet.
Please, Falstaff, no poems tonight.
Have you heard? She thought that I was just a nonentity when suddenly I revealed my identity.
No.
Or,
no.
Said General Eisenhower to Adolf Hitler, brother, you're getting littler and littler.
No,
My mother wouldn't have raised me if she knew I had that ace in the hole.
Now, wait a minute. You have fight tonight. You upset the whole apple cart here. Tonight we are talking about raising chickens.
Approximately why I am here.
Yeah?
I have written a poem.
What is your chicken poem called?
That's why a hen lays an egg.
How does it go?
Why does a hen lay an egg? This question has weathered the ages. For eons it baffled men the world o'er, morons as well as sages. Adam first asked the question as the serpent lay coiled in the grass. Adam said, why does a hen lay an egg? The serpent said, brother, I pass. Why does a hen lay an egg? Since Adam's day, it's puzzled all scholars. It was asked by Phil Baker last Sunday night. The contestant lost $64. Tonight, I will answer this question. For the nonce, I am pundit, not joker. The reason a hen lays an egg is because if she coughed up the egg, it would choke her.
And as Falstaff picks up his egg and scrambles, we turn to find Hilo Jack and the Dame at their microphone. Guided by Maestro Al Goodman, the kids sing Coming In on a Wing and a Prayer.
One of our planes was missing. They waited for a word. Then the radio started humming, and this is what they heard. Coming in on a wing and a prayer. Coming in on a wing and a prayer. So there's one motor gone, we can still carry on. Coming in on a wing and a prayer. What a joy, what a fun. Yes, we really hit a pocket for tonight. How we sing as we live through the air. Look below, there's our field over there. With our full crew aboard, song, but we're singing a song to help us along. Look below, there's a field over there. So there's one mother tongue, we can still carry on, coming in on a wing and a
Jack and a Dame, that was 12. And here's Jimmy Wallington hobbling up to the microphone. What's the trouble, Jimmy? You're limping around like a centipede who's lost his number 17 coupon.
Oh, I worked in my victory garden all day yesterday, Fred. I'm a little stiff.
A little stiff, he says. You're 6 feet tall, Jimmy.
Well, it's no joke, Fred. You know, a day of hard work certainly taught me one thing. I found out that I'm like the average car.
You're like the average car in what way?
Well, I'm not as young as I used to be, Fred.
Really?
No. You know, there aren't any new cars these days, and they're all beginning to feel their age, especially those cars that are still using last winter's lubricant.
They feel their years in their gears, huh?
All over, Fred.
Oh, I see.
But you can give an aging car a new lease on life with a Texaco dealer's Spring Tonic. That's Texaco's famous Marfac 40-point chassis lubrication, a crankcase change to Texaco's insulated Haviland motor oil, and a stem-to-stern checkup on every point where trouble can start. Battery, radiator, and other danger spots. So see your Texaco dealer soon.
That was me, for me and my gal, played by Al Goodman and the boys. Mr. Goodman's orchestra can be seen any day at the Paramount Theater, waiting in line to hear Harry James. And now, ladies and gentlemen...
Mr. Allen, can you...
No, I won't have time now, Portland. I have to look over this new song I've written. Gad, you know, this song of mine may be another 3 itty fishes and an itty-bitty poo.
You've written a song?
Yeah, well, you can laugh. Go ahead, you can laugh. If I can get our guest to sing my song tonight, my song will be number 1 on your all-time.
Well, who is our guest?
Why, he's the most talked-of singer in the country today. His voice is thrilling millions.
George, singing, Sam?
No, our guest isn't an opera personality, Portland. He's Frank Sinatra. Now, wait a minute. Pull yourself together. You won't have time to roll down your stockings and put on your sloppy Joe sweater. If I can get Frank Sinatra to sing my song, I'll be one of the... Say, this may be Frank now. Come in. Oh, yes, miss?
Hail to thee, that Frank Sinatra. Hail to thee, our idol.
Now, wait a minute, wait. Just please. You were,
I'm Cuddles Flanagan.
That's right. You were hailing around here last week. You were president of the Fred Allen Fan Club, is that right?
Yeah, but that outfit fell apart. We reorganized.
Oh. Well, what is your fan club called now?
Chapter 1 of the girls who would lay down and die for Frank Sinatra.
What is it you want to...
I got a presentation to give personally to Frank Sinatra.
Oh, a presentation?
Yeah. I heard Frank Sinatra sing, "You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To."
And you want to give him?
My address. Yahoo!
That dame would drive the street singer indoors on a sunny day, yes. Well, you see, Portland, what Frank Sinatra's singing is doing to people. If he will only sing my song... Oh, this must be Frank now. Come in.
Is Sinatra here yet?
Yes, officer. Is something wrong?
I'm from the Jitterbug Riot Squad. I've been assigned to Sinatra.
Well, you won't have any trouble here.
That's what they told me when he opened at the Paramount.
And there was confusion?
It was a riot. 3 of my men was trampled silly with sport shoes. And the sergeant was slugged with a loaded yo-yo.
Well, officer, I think we're prepared tonight.
And you got the stage door bolted?
Yes, officer.
You got the aisles roped off so the jitterbugs can't dance in them?
Yes, officer.
You got the screens up so they can't creep in through the air conditioning?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll make my announcement. Now, please, kids, let's have no trouble tonight. When you tear Mr. Sinatra's clothes off, take him home. Don't leave no rags around the seat.
Have you finished? You have another line, officer, if you don't mind. He can't wait to see Frank Sinatra himself yet.
Yeah, I finished. That takes care of everything. You can bring him on now.
Fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have you meet Frank Sinatra. Thank you very much. Gosh, Frank, right now, I must be the envy of every jitterbug in America.
Well, how do you mean, Fred?
Why, I'm standing right next to you. I'm close enough to touch you.
Uh-huh. They told me you'd start off by trying to make a touch.
2 lines and I'm a straight man already. Well, tell me, Frank, what is this terrific appeal you have? Girls stampede wherever you go. What have you got that I haven't got?
Perhaps I haven't got something that you have got, Fred.
Now, please, no lifebuoy plugs, Frank. Now, look, Frank, you're on the hit parade. You have your own program. You sing at nightclubs and theaters. You must need a lot of songs. Now, I have a song.
Fred, some other time. I'm working at Frank Daly's terrace room over in Newark, and I've got another show to do tonight.
Now, look, I can meet you, Frank. I can meet you right after the show. I'll bring my metronome. If you hear me sing this song.
No, Fred, I'm sorry. After the show, I've got to rehearse some new numbers. I'm opening the Paramount a week from Wednesday.
Again? Well, you were just there. Why, you were just there a few months ago. They held you over for 8 weeks.
That's right, Fred. The public has been very kind to me.
Why, the last time you played the Paramount, the Jitterbugs had a picnic there, Frank. The kids built campfires in the lounge. They had a big weenie roast going in the balcony. And when the picture finally went on, 2 Guy Lombardo fans were mugged in the mezzanine.
Well, jitterbugs aren't inclined to be enthusiastic. But they're all good kids, really.
And speaking of kids, Frank, kids will go for this song I have. Now, look, you say you're tied up tonight. I'll get up early and sing it for you tomorrow morning.
I'm sorry. Tomorrow I've got a conference. You know, I'm going to make a picture for RKO.
Oh, good. I'm going to make a picture, too. What is your picture?
It's a musical, Fred, called Higher and Higher. Mm-hmm. Michelle Morgan and George Murphy are in it, too. What is your picture?
Well, my picture, the story isn't finished yet, Frank. But the cast is all set. I'm being starred with Gunther Badu and Ingrid Knishmeister.
Gunther Badu?
Yes, they're both foreign stars, you see. I am the only one who speaks English in the picture. When Gunther and Ingrid are on, there'll be titles in English flashed on the bottom of the screen as I am speaking English upscreen, you see. But this song I'm speaking...
Look, Fred, everybody brings me songs.
But, Frank,
every snook I meet thinks he's a songwriter.
But, Frank,
My butcher wrote a song called I Used to Meet You, But I Can't Anymore. Even my garbage man wrote a song.
The garbage man?
Yes, Fred. He calls it I Treasure That Cemento. It's a little memento of you. I am song happy, Fred.
Well, all right, Frank. I can take a hint. I have another singer begging for my song. And remember, Frank Sinatra, the day Georgie Jessel takes your place on the hit parade, you will know the reason why.
Well, Fred, I'm sorry. Perhaps I've been a little hasty. What is the song of yours?
Well, you know what a smash hit Brazil was.
Yes?
Well, my song is the closest you can get to Brazil. It's called Chile. I'll run it over for you. Boys. These boys are 2 native Cubans, Frank. They give me the authentic rumba background, you see.
Say, this little guy's face looks very familiar.
The little one, yes. He used to do Xavier Cougar's laundry, the little man.
Is the big one a celebrity, too?
The big one, the tall one, yes, he is. He brought the first enchilado over to Staten Island, this big fella. Have you got your maracas, boys?
Sí, maracas.
They've got their maracas, Frank. Well, let's go, amigos.
Boom, 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 boom.
Chile.
Boom, 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 boom.
Chile. Hold it, amigos. Just a minute, boy. Yes, Frank.
What kind of a song is this? It only has one word.
Well, yes, Chili, one word is the verse, you see. The chorus comes later. Be patient, Frank. It comes out all right, I'll guarantee you. All right, boys.
Boom, 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 boom.
Chili. I met a filly, they call Millie. What a dilly was a filly dressed so lily white and filly with a skin just like vanilla, and it says his name was Chili down in Chili.
Boom, boom, boom.
Chili. Chili. Well, Frank, you heard that applause. Is this song hit parade bait or not?
You know, I think I like that song better when it was called The Peanut Vendor, Fred.
I get it. You don't want to sing my song, eh?
No, sirree, Fred. I'd rather do something I know.
For instance?
Well, I like to sing She's Funny that way.
All right, and I'd like to hear it, Frank.
To look at, nothing to see, just glad I'm living and lucky to be. I got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. I can't save a dollar, and I ain't worth a cent. She'd never holler, she'd live in a tent. I got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. So I know she'd work and slave for me every day. She'd be so much better off if I went away. But why should I leave her? Why should I go? She'd be unhappy without me, I know. I got a woman that's crazy for me. She's funny that way. When I hurt her feelings once in a while, her only answer is one little smile. I got a woman so crazy for me. She's funny that way.
Frank, that was excellent.
Thank you very much, Frank.
You know, it's a small world, Frank. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be standing here in the spotlight tonight getting this applause.
Mm-hmm. You mean you were responsible for my success?
In a roundabout way, Frank. You see, you are the Jitterbug's idol, and I started the whole Jitterbug movement. You know, to look at me, you wouldn't believe that I was the first Jitterbug.
No, I wouldn't. How did it happen?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't now, but I mean, look back a few years. How did it happen? I'll tell you. Syncopation ran in our family, Frank. When I was 2 days old, I crept out of my crib and crawled down a gopher hole. My father said,
"Hey, come up out of that gopher hole, son."
And I said,
"Dig me, Daddy, dig me."
You see, when I was 2 days old, they dug me. For the next 17 years, I slept in the attic. I was on the beam. When I was 19, I decided to go to New York. I ordered a suit from a Mr. Zeiss, a little Dutch tailor in town. And the day I called for the suit, when it was finished, Mr. Zeiss said,
Yeah.
Everything is ready. Now try it on, huh?
Well, I put the suit on. The thing was a mess. I said, Mrs. Ike, look at this suit. The pants are all baggy at the knees, and the cuffs are choking my ankles. The coat comes down to my shins, and the lapels are hanging down on my hips. You call this a suit?
I am so sorry. I am breaking my glasses, and I am making the suit from memory.
But it's too big. I'm baggy all over.
Oh, my eyes is so bad. Ain't you a tall, fat man?
No, I'm short and thin.
Oh, Himmel, I am memorizing the wrong man.
Well, what about this suit?
Well, the suit suits you. Take it. When a suit suits you, it's a suit.
With my suit, I left for New York. I got a job as a waiter in a flophouse cafeteria. One day, the manager caught me lapping the butter off some waffles. The manager said,
"We've had enough of your hot licks, Alan. You're through."
Then I got a job as a subway guard. One day I was packing people into the Bronx Express. The vice president of the RIT said,
"You're jamming these people in too tight. This is your last jam session, Alan. You're fired."
Then I got a job putting the names up on a movie theater marquee. One morning I put up Mickey Rooney's name and left the M out of Mickey. The theater manager said,
"Mickey Rooney? I'll licky you, Alan Scram."
The day after the theater manager called me a Nicky, I got my draft notice, Frank. After I'd had my physical, the head of the draft board says,
"Alan, we tapped your knee. The joint's jumping."
"Yes, sir."
We tapped your head. Brother, you're solid."
Solid. That makes me a jitterbug, sir. Am I in?
Yes, Alan. This draft board doesn't know much about jive, but we can certainly send you.
Well, that's my story, Frank Sinatra. I was the first Icky, the first one to hold a jam session, the first one to have somebody dig me. I was solid. I had the first suit. I was the original jitterbug. And today, when the jitterbug craze is finally sweeping the country, Frank, here I am with only an A card. I can't even go to town. Before we close the Technical Star Theater, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Frank Sinatra for dropping in tonight. Next week, our guest will be the new literary light, the author of that new book, So Help Me, George T. Jessel. And now, Jimmy, if you'd like to sum up for the defense.
For the defense of your car against excessive warm weather wear, give it a Texaco Spring Tonic now. Stir a Marfax chassis lubrication, a crankcase refill with Texaco's famous insulated Haviland motor oil, and a stem-to-stern checkup by your neighborhood Texaco dealer. A Texaco Spring Tonic gives aging cars a new lease on life.
Thank you, Jimmy. This is Fred Allen speaking for Texaco dealers from coast to coast, inviting you to tune in again next Sunday and to drive in at any time. Remember, you're welcome. Good night. Thank you.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.